as hell, and I'll pull us out. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. I'm back on the scene, it's time to get mean. I'm a lean revolution machine. For what people stay, they sway. For today is good as any day. Y'all feel slightly this, let's resist. Raise your fist and pump like this. Promises over the top. Don't cross the line, and you know it's mine. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll.
Double five, get something in your rigger. Double five, get something in your rigger. Double five, get something in your rigger. Double five, get something in your
What's up, Steve? It's Thursday night. Roll them up.
Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with?
Roll them up.
Let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? Who you wanna roll with? Lefty, let's roll. Who you wanna roll with? 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 Who you wanna roll with?
Right on. What's up, Steve? How are you? Steve Runkel in the house. We got Mikey calling in. A few other people calling in. We got a lot of stuff going on today. Lavalette. Shit show in Lavalette. What? Oh, by the way, welcome, Christian, Wally, Steve-O. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you're here. I know you've been watching, but hi guys. It's great to have you with us. So yeah, you guys are in big trouble down in Lavalette. You pissed off quite a few people, and now everyone's getting to know about it. There's been a spotlight on Lavalette, and it's ugly. And there's some real reporting going on there, not like Babs and all the other crap reporting that's going on down there of the little club they have down there. They got this little club that nobody can get into, but we just exposed it because you screwed up. You disrespected us years ago because we went there for medical cannabis issues, and then we found these other issues like wheelchair issues, and now we have First Amendment issues with these people. This is really bad corruption right there. They had their police force back for 6 months. The prosecutor's office took over the police force. That's how bad they are. And they just got it back 6 months ago. This is what they're doing. They're going back to the same old routine. Same old. This is how they fight. This is how they fight their battles. This is all they know down there. It's absolutely insane. Here, let me show you something here. Also, South Amboy is very ignorant. This is another ignorant town. Let me show you something what goes on in South Amboy. This happened last week. This is pretty shocking. Here it is. I hope you can see this and hear it. Oh, can you hear it? Shoot, hold on. Let me do this. Share sound. Optimize for video clip. How about that? Really? I didn't mean to share. Oh God, I didn't mean to do that. I got no audio. Do I have no audio? Steve, you talking to me and I got no audio? No, I got audio. I just played the music. Steve, I can't hear you if you're talking. Shoot, maybe it's me. No, it's not me. I don't think it's me. Let me see if this video plays. See, I don't hear shoot right now. What's going on here? There we go.
Oh, hi. Go ahead. I have to set up my ramp. It'll take me a minute here.
Need assistance?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So, we have to do this. This goes up on top. It goes like this.
Okay.
Watch your foot there.
That's it.
Good. Yes, and then down. Oh, that's amazing. I think that'll work. I have to go back here. I think I have to go back here. I'm hitting the door. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me try it now. Let me try this way. Okay, face it this way. And come down. I can't do this. This is not going to work. There we go. This'll work.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what happened there. It just refreshed itself. I think you can
hi.
see it and hear it, though.
Go ahead. I have to set up my ramp. It'll take me a minute here.
Need assistance?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. So, we have to do this. This goes up on top. It goes like this.
Okay.
Watch your foot there.
That's it.
Good. Yes, and then down. Oh, that's amazing. I think that'll work. I have to go back here. I think I have to go back here. I'm hitting the door. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me try it now. Let me try this way. Okay, face it this way. And come down. I can't do this. This is not going to work. There we go. This'll work. There we go. We got it now. Oh, we got it now. Oh, I just need a push. I just need a little, maybe not. Oh, yes. Yay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
We'll leave the ramp there for now. Make sure nobody trips over the ramp. The ramp is inclusive.
What up?
Hey, hey.
Need assistance?
Where the Lacero tears at? La Cicero, sissy.
What happened to Honeybee? She was just on. We lost her.
Oh, I've been running around. I got that paralyzed dog with the wheelchair. Come home and everything's a fucking mess.
What, does he get into stuff?
No, she has no control of her bladder or anything. So,
I had a dog like that, and we used to have little diapers made up with a little tail cut out for him.
yeah, she drags herself, so that doesn't work. It comes right off.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she's got her own wheelchair and shit.
Well, that's cute though.
That's the one from Helmeta. That's what started all this shenanigans.
Oh, man. What's her name?
Harley.
Harley. Nice.
Yeah, I got rid of my Harley, so I got the dog and named her Harley.
What's up,
So that's
guys?
my Harley. What up?
Hey there. What's up?
Chillin'. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, happy Thursday. I think hopefully Sunday should be lawsuit preparedness day at work all day.
Well, that correlates perfectly with Self-Care Sunday, so we're
Yes. Yeah, and I'm sure that Wally and the family are probably sitting there all eating dinner and watching the podcast. So they got a nice couple lawsuits coming in their way. I'm going to contact an ADA attorney too, because of the violation of my disability rights to be able to record. I spoke to my doctor today. He should be writing up a statement that I need the recordings for my lack of focus and stuff, because one of my disabilities 50% for headaches. So I have a lot of issues remembering things and staying focused. So one of the reasons I do record, my meetings and everybody else's meetings is to have that public record. And you can't dispute a recording. It is what it is, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yep.
So they have a lot of issues there. You see that they have a huge ego. Not only Wally and the police there, but also, the residents, where
Yes.
they think, oh, we have consequences to our actions of not getting permission. If you notice the actions that they're doing at every council meeting afterwards,
Sorry.
they know that they majorly fucked up.
Yep.
Because they're changing their quote unquote restrictions because it's not in line with the law. So the only consequences that are going to be are a check written out to us. Unfortunately, that's the way it's got to go. I pleaded with them to follow the law, printed out the law, highlighted that printout, and gave it to them, and pleaded with them. And Mike, you were in the processor room. I'm like, please look at the law. You're wrong. Nope, we're not looking at anything.
They said battle it out in court. Take it to court.
Yep.
Figure it out in court. Have the judge deal with it. We're not dealing with it.
Yeah. So, at every turn, and even today when I spoke to John Bennett, at every turn, I'm pleading with them to follow the law. Now they're asking for 100-day extensions, and they're citing the fact that, well, they have a lot of extensions they have a lot of open requests coming in, but from other individuals. So if one person's asking for a voluminous amount, they can ask for service fees. They can say, hey, it's voluminous. We need a long time to do this. And by the way, you're going to get charged for it as well. But if you have 500 people asking for one thing each or two things each, that's not voluminous. That's just a lot of requests. And, he said that there's only one person that are fulfilling the requests. Not our problem. The law clearly is on our side. And when this happens in Helmetta and Hamilton and other places, unfortunately, you have to hire more people, because now people aware of the corruption, whether it's news or just people that are in line with corruption, they start open requesting stuff to find out what's going on. In my town, my mayor sold a fire truck for $1 to Six Flags, which is a for-profit company worth $2.2 billion. It's a $50,000 truck that they sold for $1, and then all of a sudden her husband became chief of police or chief of the fire department there. How do you think we found that information out? Through open requests. That's what the Sunshine Law is designed to do, is to weed out corruption and show a spotlight and have the ability for common folk like us to be able to delve into these issues and figure it out. One of the places I'm going to also send my stuff to is the OPIA, which is the Office of Professional Integrity and Accountability. That's manned by the state police. So, and then you also have the what's the name of the place? My wife wrote a 425-page document, sent it to what's the name of the place? It's not the OPIA, it's the other one where they wrote a whole thing on the NJSPCA on quote unquote their wolves in sheep's clothing was the name of the document, and that basically put them out of business, and then they were disbanded. So and she got all the information from open requests. I open requested their SOPs. We took that case all the way to the Supreme Court in New Jersey. We won the entire way. So these public officials don't like Scooby-Doo, you meddlesome kids. We're going to do things our way, and how dare you come and try to challenge us. And even the town folk are doing the same thing. Like, it's a bunch of rednecks. Like, how dare you cite law to us. We have our ordinances, and that's what we follow here. You
Well,
know,
the residents are,
Lavalette do as Lavalette does. No, it doesn't work that way.
they have a pretty bad example that they're following by these elected officials in Lavalette. You know, if the residents are seeing the way they're behaving and they're acting, and then all of a sudden they think that they have the right to not be on camera at a meeting.
No, if I was there, I would have took my regular camera and just started snapping pictures of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't make photography a crime. You know, I'd have my regular camera recording, and I would just start, especially Babs. I would take pictures of her all day long.
Babs.
You know, great for memes. You know, Mike's got my other SD card. I got to get that from him because I took a lot of pictures of Adam, so I could do a lot of memes on him. You know, just like their police department page is now blocked from anybody commenting. That's illegal. That's already been established in courts. Van Wagner versus Yady. We're going to look up that case too, and I think we're going to file that case as well on our own because it's already been established. It's First Amendment, or we could put that in with our 83 lawsuit since that's also a federal crime and a civil rights violation. We'll see if the attorney will roll it all into one.
Yep. And Christian's listening, Adam's listening. I'm sure the little inbred reject Steve-O is listening. They're all listening.
Yeah, you know, the law's on our side. The consequences aren't going to go against us. You know, and now let's say on October 10th when we go to court, if the prosecutor still decides to continue, now it's malicious prosecution because they know that these charges don't correlate to the actions that we did that day. They know now that recording a meeting without permission, although we had permission, is legal. So their actions, if the prosecutor continues, you know, he'll be met with the 1983 lawsuit too, because now it's malicious prosecution. You know that you're prosecuting somebody when it doesn't fit the crime.
Yeah, the actions of the council on the 7th of August after the arrest, and then Tuesday night, it's changed each time. It's changed each time, and they're doing this all on the fly. They're trying to figure out how to deal with it. Obviously, they've taken a lot of backstepping, backpedaling on this. They realize the monumental error they made.
But again, it's ad hoc. It's nothing they haven't even started putting anything into an ordinance and codifying anything, which the Supreme Court expressly tells them to do. So those pieces of paper, putting up on the wall, all that stuff is still ad hoc. It doesn't have to be followed. You know, like in my town, they codified you can't have tripods set up. They have to be set up in the back of the room, which is fine. They could do that. Well, I walk in and you see my stick is one. It's not a tripod. So like I had my council president tell me, oh, you got to go in the back as a tripod. No, it's not. That's not a tripod.
Steve, I played along with the whole. All right, there was 5 seats they had available for filming seats. All right, so I played along. I sat in one of the seats not to be a problem about it.
Right, I probably would too.
That being said, I don't like the seats that were chosen because they're the ones where the officers who stand at the threshold are looking right at our cameras. So as we're filming, they're over our shoulders. They're looking at it. Plus, you don't get the best audio when you're in the back of the room.
Well, you got to get, they have mics that you can clip on. I have them at home. But what you want to do is they have, you know, for cell phones, they have, it's almost like a rig that you put in the middle. And then on top of it, they have the shoe that you could put the mic on and then just clip it to your phone. And then, you know, put it on a tripod or put it on, you know, the mono stick like I have. I bought those little legs. And then I took the one that was on there, which was like almost like a walking stick thing. And I just put the other one on. So if I need to with a light camera, I can just set that up and it'll stay. It'll stand up by itself. I don't have to hold it.
Yeah. So they keep changing their reasonable restrictions around. They're juggling their reasonable restrictions.
Well, and again, it's all ad hoc. So that continues the OPMA violations. The tourist violations are continuing on a continuous basis, and they have no leg to stand on. You know, so Adam, you know, you're done. You're red flagged in the system now with the amount of IEs I filed on you.
You're done, Adam. You're not going up the ladder there anymore.
Yeah, you can't be promoted.
Doesn't
No
matter
other
that your dad's the mayor.
no other place is going to take you now because now you're a liability. So congratulations, Adam. You're
Well,
done.
Adam also knows he couldn't work in an actual professional law enforcement agency. You know,
Right.
that's that, and those are the words of the prosecutor for the Ocean County prosecutor. That, you know, until Lavalette meets the standards of a professional law enforcement agency, this is what was said back when they had taken over command.
Right.
You know, it's a joke.
Well, now, so I've gotten those. So everybody can open request that report from the prosecutor's office. That's available to get. I got 5 dogs in my house right now, so that's available for everybody to get. And it shows what training everybody's gotten. So one of the trainings that they're supposed to get, I think it's biannually, is on the ordinances, and they have to sign off on them. So I open requested to sign off on all the police officers. So you're telling me that this guy is quoting an ordinance that doesn't exist, and then you have Sergeant Attorney Lamb stating that under the OPMA you have to request permission to record. Where do these guys read these laws at? They're pulling them out of the ass.
Make shit up.
We follow the law, and then the same laws that they're supposed to follow, they make up. They make up the laws as they go.
And Wally's a lawyer too. Wally, as well as Robert Lamb and Justin Lamb, they're all lawyers.
Yes. And John Bennett's a lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, but in regards to that too, they can't, like John can't give them legal advice. He's not their attorney. I think Burns is. Yes. So if Burns is giving them all these bad advices, and you can't say like John said, well, this reasonable restriction thing and guidelines came in effect with the old attorney. So did the new attorney look at all the ordinances? Did he look at the resolutions before they adopted them? Did they do any of that? Because he's still complicit. You're supposed to, as the attorney, protect the town and the council and the mayor from any further lawsuits. So, ignorance is no excuse. You got to know what you're doing. This town is like a big redneck thing of like, we're going to do what we want to do. And if you don't like it, we'll just arrest you. And you could argue with the judge. Well, but this is even a case. It's like you're walking down the street and, all right, we're going to cite you for murder because some dude got murdered one day and we'll just take it to the judge. Well, it's going to cost you $50,000 to defend yourself over something that you didn't even do. Mm-hmm. You can't just make up charges on people and just charge them and say, well, just deal with it in court.
I got to say, if this gets to court, eventually civil or whatever, that I would really love to hear ignorance is no excuse uttered to the other side. One time. I mean, it would mean everything to me. What can I do to make that happen?
If I have the opportunity to say I would definitely say
I was involved in that original idea. Ignorance is no excuse. I would say for the law.
Yeah. And
Lefty, of course, shortened it justifiably and appreciably to ignorance is no excuse. And so that it's coming all the way back to this for a case that's all about First Amendment rights that have protected me for 32 fucking years. This is special to me. I don't know. I wish I could take part at a much more helpful level.
You have been. Your support, Jim, has been very loud and has been.
It's going to be continued loud. And louder.
The response of the few really good people who have been in our corner, you being one of them, has been
First Amendment.
One of the nicest things.
You all stepped up because of Brian Cummings couldn't get an email reply to where's the beach mats. It helps him get on the beach. You went there to ask that question and video the responses is your state constitutionally and federally constitutionally protected right to do so. You, especially Steve, with the explicit the permission, did exactly that. It's the first thing in 32 years that has nothing to do with medical cannabis that affects me the same way that issue does. It's because it is anybody that would want to get on a beach mat and need help for it would obviously be a potential, if not already registered patient, one that would qualify. And as an adult, it doesn't matter. It's the same, it is parallel. And you don't have to take a
Well,
look at your own personal mission statement. For me, it's a First Amendment right. It's protecting me for everything. And when I was standing in front of Frank Pallone's house, Congressman Frank Pallone, a little after midnight, with a wheelchair, with a Frank Pallone lied while my wife died on the memorial wheelchair. Yeah, when they came in SWAT style in Long Branch, put on my fingers are exposed gloves, getting ready to show force. It was those rights that protected me. Now it's
Of course,
it's you guys.
I fought for those rights. My
You're
friends
fighting.
died for that
You're
right.
fighting for them now. Both of you two are fighting for them now, and I don't understand why all these First Amendment right loving, I get to say what I think, people aren't totally supporting you. I don't know how to crack that freaking code. Do we all not belong in this? But anyway.
Well, thankfully, San Joaquin Valley showcased our videos, which is phenomenal. I mean, it's got 86,000 hits right now.
I didn't know that.
88,000. It's
No,
88,000.
hey, listen, do I even have to say that you know where this is going, right? I mean, you don't know about money for a lawyer, you don't know about a lot of things, but when the smoke clears, how incredibly obviously right you are, and there's going to be justification coming, and it's you didn't go looking for it. You didn't show up there like, I'm going to break the law and assert my First Amendment rights. That, I've done that. You've done it, but you went there to
It should have been the most uneventful meeting.
exactly. So that's what makes it so freaking. That's what makes it so freaking valuable. That
the only reason I had the tort claim ready, I said this to a couple different people. It's like I really don't want to get arrested. Hopefully they honor our rights, but with them puffing their chest, and I've had other towns puff their chest. We're going to do this. Their policy says this, and then at the end of the day, they call the zone prosecutor and they go, "Yeah, we're not doing anything. Have a good day. Bye."
Yeah. Well, that's what's good. Yeah,
that's do that, Steve.
That's what's gonna.
Maybe scared is not the right word to use, but I'm okay with using the word scared. You only had that prepared because we would have been scared to get arrested and then deal with the consequences.
Right. And as I said to Adam on camera and at the booking room, it's like, dude, listen, I printed everything out for you guys. Just read the Supreme Court ruling. I said, now you guys have been served. I said, fix this.
No, the town has ordinances.
Yeah,
exactly. But they don't have ordinances, even though he signed off that he read all the ordinances. The depositions are going to be fucking.
The deposition of Sergeant Dum Dum is going to be amazing.
Here's what's going to be their problem. This is totally understandable to the general stupid ass public. It is totally understandable. It is sort of cut and dried. There's nothing they have that's going to help them look any less bad than it already looks. And
they're making it worse because every meeting
they are.
He's snorting more shit.
Yeah.
So this is a First Amendment thing that all I can do, and I've got a lot of things working out and some things going on in my own world.
Let me get back to you guys. My wife just called me. Hang on. I'll get right back to you guys.
Yeah, we'll be here, right? I mean, are you guys going anywhere? I'm not.
Jim, I thought they were going to arrest me for my mask.
I got to explain something real quick. Today was Kathy's daughter 40th birthday. So we all went out to the Yard House in Moorestown and had sort of an appetizer, halftime, special celebration, the family and me. And it turned out I ended up opting for having a beer and a fairly liberal amount. And it was an awesome evening. My inner voice ruled. It was an incredibly great experience. I can explain that at another time. Yet it was like a pint, a 23 ounce or a 23 ounce and a pint. And I had appetizers, and now I'm here. I came straight back. That's why I came, walked in and got on. But that doesn't distort anything I think or say, you know. It was a wonderfully cognizant evening and seeing the value of family. And I love that. To come right to here. And it's like this whole other family. Now we're not blood, but it's like it's the same thing. And between you and me and the lamppost, and I guess if this is public, it's between you, me, you and me and the lamppost and everybody.
And Lavalette police.
No, my own sidebar here.
Well, they're watching.
My disappointment with the coalition at our board meeting, and the stunning revelation of the extent of where I am with them, and the pigs are walking. I don't know what to say. Do you know anything about Animal Farm? Anyway, pigs are walking is a reference. Combined with that, we got 5 Republicans co-sponsoring S342 that are not responding to requests, none of them, to politely ask Nick Scutari to get out of the way on record, ask him to do that. And it's not happening. And I'm about to accuse all of them of doing like Jim DeMaio, assemblyman at Jake's Law, where he stood up and talked against Jake's Law, saying it phases out patient cannabis sales tax, phases it out. I introduced a bill that it would get rid of it immediately. Yeah, he introduced a bill that would get rid of it immediately. His own assemblymate with an office right next to him, adjoining offices, didn't co-sponsor his bill. He did that to be able to stand up and go on record as showing the Democrats' shortcomings on the bill that was going to pass. I get it. I applaud the effort, but now I see Senator Doer along with the rest, because we got a kind of stock response from Tina about it's time to do this, and the only thing I can think of is eyes wide open, Jim. What if is that all over again? Not specifically like they do support it, but the reason they openly support it was because only 3 Democrats are co-sponsoring it, while they know that they know and the public doesn't. The reason is because Scutari doesn't want to post it. So if you're a Democratic senator and you support it, you're going against Scutari, and you might incur his wrath. If he has wrath, I don't know. But I do know that Republicans have nothing to lose. They've been in the minority for 22 years. And if they aren't even going to ask him, say, one third of our entire fucking Senate party here in the minority co-sponsors this bill, and we do so knowing that you blocked it all of the end of last session and so far till now, when we offered our co-sponsorship, we signed on. But we're not going to even ask him to allow Joe Vitelli to post it for hearing. You see, imagine how I might receive that. Now, so basically, we have Jason with Senator Doer, Seth with Senator O'Scanlan, and Savvy Jean, Jennifer with Senator Bucco, 3 of the 5. And I'm going to write something and figure out how to get it to all 5 of them, the exact same thing, saying, tell me it ain't so, Joe. This is not true, is it? Are you just doing that? I mean, I applaud it as a minority party, not a bad move, but we're talking about something very serious here. And the only way to say to me, no, that's not the case, Jim, is to do something about it. Am I right about that or not?
Yeah.
Now, if I am right about that, I got time during this campaign season to show where they are. If they don't want me there, questioning their reasoning, then simply politely say, please, Senate President, all due respect, would you please allow Joe Vitelli to post this for a hearing? That's all I'm asking them to do. And you tell me, if they won't do that, what does that tell you? If they won't do that simple thing, polite doing that, or co-sponsors, it goes with it, what does that tell you? See, I'm at a crossroads here, so eyes wide open. What's up, Steve?
What up?
I can see you now.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. She calls me, I call her back. I tell her I'm on a podcast. She
Yeah,
hangs up on me.
yeah.
That's love.
It's called
Yeah.
life, you know?
Yeah,
Yep.
love and life.
Something tells me you know how to adjust on the fly, and it's like wind over your head, man. It's the way it should be.
It's all Lefty's fault.
Well, anyway, you know, as we're saying in your absence partially, the fact that this is so much about First Amendment rights that didn't start out as a protest. It started out as an accessibility issue brought on by a multiple sclerosis patient, lifelong resident of Lavalette, did not get an answer. You guys went to get an answer. You want to video it, and here we are. It's a First Amendment issue, and it's an accessibility issue, for crying out loud. This has all the makings.
It was supposed to be the most boring story
It
ever.
was. Now, see, that's what needs to be the battering ram here. What the hell went? Why did the wheels go off? We were surprised. We are not easily surprised, are we? We're surprised.
No, I really didn't expect it.
No, nobody did. So that isn't impugning us, it's impugning them. It means that they went beyond our expectations. Look at us. Look at the people here. Who are we? What does it take to get fooled and surprised for us?
I did expect it. I definitely did expect it because look at now everybody's getting an idea of that town. I've already known about them.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, honeybee.
Hey, honeybee.
Hey, honeybee.
What's up?
Yeah, you're busy driving. Don't answer us, man. Pay attention.
I expect.
Everybody.
What's up?
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
just getting on. I have to get in Wi-Fi service, so I'll just be listening. Hi, everybody. Bye.
Hey, boy.
I kind of expect anything from anybody because they wield the power. So I filed charges on Adam. I've contacted the clerk probably at least 5 or 6 times now. I really haven't received anything back. I don't know if it's going in front of a judge for a probable cause hearing. I know nothing. He doesn't have qualified immunity based on the fact that this has already been well established that you could record a public meeting. So he has no qualified immunity, but you know, they all play these little games because you don't have the power, they have the power. So even if you guys go to the meeting and they don't do anything to you, then all of a sudden you get a ticket in the mail. Oh, you did this or you did that. That way they're not causing any controversy. You have nothing on camera, and all of a sudden you have more charges. I mean, I've been there, done that. You know, it's no sweat off their ass. They go to the fucking the courtroom and they get paid to be there. You know, we have to take time off of work. We have to pay a lawyer and all this other stuff. They don't care. They just smile. All right, I'm getting overtime.
Well, let me ask you something about, you have to pay a lawyer. This is true, but you seem to be like a paralegal able to present something to a lawyer. What do you think of this? You know what I mean?
Sure.
You've done a lot of the groundwork and it's quite impressive, but to present that, it's almost like, I don't know, I can't get traction in helping get financial help. I mean, try as I do.
Yeah, I mean, so I was legal chief in the squadron in the Marine Corps like 25 years ago.
Yeah, but with something on the back end, like a civil suit afterwards, it's obvious for infringement on your First Amendment rights.
Yeah, 1983.
Right. It would seem like the slam dunk that a reasonable lawyer would say, okay, if we sign up or I get to represent you on that, I'll work with you right now on this. Am I wrong about how simple that sounds?
Oh yeah, it's a combo deal. You do this, you're
Yeah.
gonna get paid on the back end out of our winnings. Plus,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a third of the
And,
winnings.
yeah, plus you did
plain
all the
done.
groundwork for what the lawyer needs to present.
Yeah.
You are his paralegal already on the job for weeks now.
Yeah, I mean, I did the discovery request. I did the I did an open request on a lot of different things to be able to prove our case. I did the preservation notice. So they're deleting comments and stuff on the Facebook page, which is now also illegal. So that'll be wrapped into it.
Nice. Whoa.
You know, I did the motion to dismiss based on the fact that this is all legal. And I cited a lot of legal grounds on it. And the judge dismissed it. And then I was like, wait, the prosecutor never responded to it yet. Okay. So we'll hear this next time. Well, I don't have any faith in that because you already denied it based on nothing. So all this guy has to say is, yeah, I disagree. And then you're going to say, all right, denied. You don't even need a legal argument. You already made your decision.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he denied it based on nothing. I mean, I have a sound legal argument.
Hell yeah.
Really sound. And he was just like, oh, nope, denied. You know, and at the last court hearing, you know, I'm the only one that actually presented something to the judge. You know, usually on an arraignment, it's like, you know, guilty, not guilty. I'm like, I have a motion to dismiss, Your Honor. You know, let's hear that. You know, because all these legal things that you do, they have to respond to it. It's not like, you know, when we go up there and say our piece, they don't have to respond to anything. But you do have to respond to open requests. You do have to respond to the motions. You have to respond to all that. Otherwise, it goes into default and we win.
No, that's the beauty of what you're doing. They can't just not respond.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
I like that.
You know, that.
You know, and
goes-
I think the other thing that we need to do. So under the Faulkner Act, if they get a letter sent to them asking them to read it at the council meeting, they're supposed to read it at the council meeting. So I think we need to have a push, whether we do like a form letter and, you know, people can put their own stuff in there as well. But that way, you know, they get bombarded with, you know, 10 letters a meeting. You know, you want to inconvenience us? Well, let's inconvenience them.
That's sound principle to me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we could fight it on the ADA principle. We could fight on the First Amendment principle, the
Or both.
OPMA principle, the common law right to record a meeting principle. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many facets to this that it's unreal. You know, and I was
But-
telling Lefty and Mikey before. So there was a comment on one of the YouTube channels saying, well, if you're disabled, you know, disabled vet, you could say that you needed the recording to be able to listen to it later, you know, focus and all that. And somebody else was like, oh, you have to have, you know, an issue like that. Well, I do have that issue. And I actually spoke to my doctor today, you know, stating that. And he's like, yeah. So I'm 50% disabled for headaches. I have problems with focus. I have problems with memory. And one of the reasons I record these meetings is I have an exact happenings of what happened with a third party, you know, filming, you know, with the third party remembering everything as in a video. So it's a violation of my ADA rights too.
Well, at least they didn't refuse to allow you to be cuffed in front of you.
Yes.
You know, it's that to me says they recognize the importance of that avenue.
Yep. I appreciate that because
Yeah,
I
and
got
they have-
shoulder issues, I got back issues. I would have had to call the
Right,
ambulance here.
but they realized that was not in their best interest. They don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about you. It was not
Well-
in their best interest, but that tells me that they realize also that what you were just saying is equally true and about to rain down upon them if
Yep.
they do anything but apologize and say, let's make this go away. And they're obviously
Yep.
not going to do that, which means that in civil court, all this is admissible. Everything that went
Yep.
on is good for civil court.
Yep.
Good for you. And thank you.
Now, I also have an issue too. So I ask for SOPs a lot of times through, you know, a lot of different police departments. Now, here's one of the issues that I have because I did get jacked up one time in Helmeta when they arrested me. I had to go to the hospital and everything else, and I had to get shots. So none of these towns in their SOPs have anything on ADA. So what do you do if somebody
Really?
does cannabis? What do you do if somebody has one arm? What do you do if somebody has PTSD? What do you
Yeah.
do if whatever the case is? They're too fat to have handcuffs. What like in my instance, when I said, "Hey, can you handcuff me in the front?" There's no policy on any of this. In any police department I've ever open requested for SOPs, you should have something in there for ADA and kind of somewhat dealing with all kind of issues, but simplistic. If they and God forbid, you could have somebody that's a convicted felon or where we're going, oh, I need to be handcuffed in the front. So you need to have something in policy to protect the officers, but also to protect, the nonviolent felons and stuff like that that have shoulder problems or back problems or PTSD or anxiety or whatever the case is. None of them have anything with the ADA. None of them.
Yeah, good. Well, God forbid somebody who's what's commonly called deaf and dumb. I don't like terms, but if they get like questioned somewhere and they can't handle it, that spirals out of control.
Somebody that's autistic.
Yeah, no, right, exactly. Nobody there. If there's no SOP on that.
Nope, there's no SOP in so far in any town.
Oh, geez, Lefty, there's another one. Is accessibilities now? You got to get on the warpath about SOP for shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think just as a town, for liability, for community policing, you should have something in there on how to affect an arrest. If somebody is saying, hey, listen, I'm a disabled vet, can you handcuff me in the front? Now, it's probably a play-by-play basis. Like if I'm acting, wacky or whatever, maybe you don't do that.
Yeah.
But, like for instance, I wasn't arguing at all. Dude, can you just handcuff me in the front? Okay, cool. I mean, I've had it where, no, they handcuff me in the back, they throw me in the police car, and I'm laying on the seat. I can't even back out to get out of it. And I had to go to the freaking hospital.
So to be clear for me, and being clear is not going to be my strong suit tonight for whole other reasons. Is it the 10th or 11th? Your court appearance? When's your
The 10th, October 10th.
Okay, that's what I thought. So good, I'll remember it.
Yep, it's all Zoom. They don't do anything in person, which I'm kind of glad. It's like I'm glad I don't have to drive out there because it's like an hour for me. But at the same time, I have a right to be in person if I want, but I'm not going to ask for that because.
So is this something that a member of the general public, such as myself, could log into?
I don't see why not. I mean, we could share the link.
It seems to be a public, like where I could walk in if I was there.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
correct.
yeah.
I mean, proceedings should be open to the public.
Yeah, between now and then, if I have somewhere to guidance on where to go to check that out, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we can send the link to you.
I'm just saying, I'm not the guy that's going to stand behind. I don't need a road map. Yeah, I need a fucking road map.
Yes, no, that's fine. I mean, we asked Gavin Rossi for some assistance on filing a lawsuit for the OPMA. So on Sunday, I'm going to work on that. I need you two guys to send me information on your winnings. Like mine says, I'm a First Amendment advocate. I've shut down the NJSPCA. I've shut down through Oprah and all this other stuff. All your accolades have to be in there for as Gavin said. It's where you're your own best cheerleader, like everything that you've ever done. In the 5th grade, you won the science project.
So is this gonna be how do you plead here? Is that what the
No, the arraignment already happened. So they should be doing the motion. Now, hopefully the prosecutor drops it. If not, we might go into a breakout session with the prosecutor. And, I'm going to say this should be dismissed. There's no charge. The charge doesn't fit. Did you watch the video? Within 1 minute of going to a council meeting, we were arrested.
Yeah, I can't, but you can't afford to be surprised. You got to be ready for things that, already there's a lot of surprise in this case, but it just seems that,
well, I find it funny that in my discovery request, they didn't provide to me my email to the clerk asking for permission and then her email back to me saying yes.
No, whoa. They didn't?
Nope.
That's fucking, okay, that's freaking crucial.
It's very
Well,
lavalette of them.
that can make it a motion to dismiss based on the fact that they
Yeah.
provide us with that. And then the other issue is supposedly they film it with audio and put it on TV, and the audio, the video we got of the council meeting is a security camera, no audio.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have to have the best evidence. You can't just provide whatever you
Well,
feel
okay,
like.
now, and keep in mind, I guess, I don't have to tell you that this is from somewhere where they say, or the clerk can just give you verbal permission, which,
Yes.
what does that give you? Where's the?
It gives you no protection because they could
Yeah,
pull the same shit.
which is exactly why when I'm dealing with constituents, dealing with their legislators, we do it by email. When they say,
Yep.
let's talk on the phone, I advise them against it. Let's go to a Zoom meeting. That's better than being on a phone conversation as the counter offer, you know?
Right.
And it's amazing how, well, I don't think we want to do that.
Well,
So-
I hope requested all applications to record the public meeting and permissions, and they have none.
Yeah.
But Chris has recorded meetings, and other people, I'm assuming. I mean, there's a picture on that one page of somebody speaking that I guess is deceased now. Did that person get permission, or is it only when we come in that you have to get
Yeah,
permission?
well, it's whatever they say it is there, though. That's it. It's ad hoc.
Yep,
I
and-
mean,
yep.
it's that goes to the problem. It bolsters your case. It's like when Weedman would go out at his trial for having 2 pounds, saying it was all mine, and he'd go out with a bunch of other people to his van in the parking lot in full view, smoke pot all during the recess, the lunch recess, and come back. And the sheriff's officers asked me to go out and tell them not to do that. And I was like laughing. The reason we had a relationship is they were taking my signs away that I would hold up so the jury would see it. But anyway, it was fun talking to them. I said, let me get this straight. You don't want to go out there and give him shit because it would bolster this case. Have I got that right? And
Yep.
it looked like they got outsmarted by Weedman, and it funneled through me into their little
Yep.
office next to the courtroom. It was epic. There was nobody there to share it with me, but it was quite awesome. And I see overlapping and similar things going on here, but I'm just thinking that somewhere between the comment of, yeah, go ahead and sue, I hope you get a lot, and the attitude that Lefty describes of, yeah, we'll just pay it off, we'll just take, they can handle it. They can handle it. Well, that whole thing, it's like, it seems like a freaking, not a gold mine for getting reparations, just for pointing out the importance of First Amendment rights.
Yep.
You were the guys doing this.
Yep.
And
You know-
all I can do is to try to present that in whatever way I can to the general public as much as I can between now and whenever. Because to me, it's like, this is the simplest case of this incredibly easy to see truth that people don't need to know a lot. And like I always say, we're a one goddamn divided country right
Yep.
now, but we're united in one thing, and it's we all rely on our First Amendment rights to say.
Yeah,
what
I mean,
we
could you
say.
imagine if
You
your
know?
kid is in school and they have a class project, whether it's journalism or political science? Hey, go to the council meeting, record it, and write down your notes and present like a book report, and then the kid gets fucking arrested.
Yeah.
Right?
you
Now,
imagine?
Jim, Jen Coombs, who who that is, Jim?
Why does that, is that, I don't know, maybe I do.
Well, she's like a, I guess, transparency advocate, disability activist, whatever, advocate. She went to Lavalette. She was trying to file an internal affairs complaint, and she was filming herself, and the officers ran a criminal background check on her, and she had a warrant, and they placed her under arrest. And then she ended up going to, she had a warrant out in Asbury. So then she went to Monmouth County and wound up staying there for 10 months until she had her trial, and then was found not guilty. They're not allowed to do a criminal background check on somebody just because they want to. They have to be in the process of committing a crime or a motor vehicle stop for them to legally tap into that system and do a background check. And they did it illegally, and they arrested her.
Oh.
They do whatever they want.
because
Well,
they have the power and the authority. So,
Yep.
nobody else is
And they
going to challenge
lie.
them.
well, listen, I know it's not like on records per se. An officer of the law in Lavallette saying, go ahead and sue. I hope you get a lot. But that doesn't mean that you can't say at any juncture you want that this is the advice of a Lavallette police officer. And I'm taking his advice. So I'm doing this as per the advice of an arresting officer.
Yep.
You fucking moron. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Inside
Well,
voice.
And he put in a police report how I quote unquote said it's going to be worth, this arrest is worth $50,000.
Yeah, well, that
And
was
Steve was wrong. And Steve's wrong. It's worth more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, we want 420 each.
420, baby.
Higher.
you know what?
Higher.
Yeah, I'd say higher, and so you'll be lucky if it gets down to that.
Well, I
But
said
it's sort of
420,
like
420 each.
if you are ever going to be in the position where the sanctions are not so great that you need to settle right away, that you can, is there pressure for it to be quick, or would you like to really go for squeezing their balls? It's
I want to
like,
squeeze their balls.
yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, if people need to get behind this financially, I would like it to be people that understand this is somebody that wants to squeeze, help them squeeze.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's going to be a slam dunk and they're going to go, we can afford it. And it's not going to matter to their constituency in Lavallette. But the longer this goes on, we also get to make it sort of in the public domain as much as possible, because it affects everybody who does not depend on the right to speak freely.
But
in
if you
this
look
country,
at if you look at their constituents on these pages, it's like, well, you could record with permission, and you have to face the consequences and all this other bullshit. And they're spinning it like, oh, these out of towners, and who cares?
Yeah.
It's like we're the bad guys.
Yeah,
and
you're
we're
bread,
the
you're
criminals.
out of towners
And
are
it's
bread
not.
basket. Yeah.
You guys broke the law. We're going to enforce the law, and you're going to pay. There's no consequences on our end. You're going to write a check out.
And the out of towners are going to find out about it.
If I was
Yeah.
on a jury,
No,
I would award stiffest penalties possible to
Yeah.
send a message to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't keep.
My opinion is you may end up going to court and they're going to even go worse than this. They're going to say they're going to start slitting their own throats by just being themselves. And
Yep.
no matter how it ends out, that this will get to go, depending on you guys, it'll get to go to court. Is this not anybody else's biggest dream come true?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I'd love for it to go to court.
yeah, I mean, understand, I have no skin in the game, except I do for 32 years. This has been protecting me. When I was outside Congressman Frank Pallone's house with the Cheryl Miller Memorial wheelchair and a big sign, here lives Congressman Pallone, he lied when my wife died. And when I was there for 5 hours without police intervention and they SWAT styled me in, it was all about First Amendment rights. And it was like I was bullied, but come on, Cheryl just died. You can't bully somebody whose wife just died. It's not fucking possible. It just doesn't work that way. So anyway, it was while he was putting on his fingers cut out gloves, and other officers were stepping back. And he said, I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to leave now. And I said, or? And he said, what do you mean, or? I said, or you're supposed to say, or I'm gonna place you under arrest, but you also have to say it twice, because if you only say it once, I might say I didn't understand you and you want to be able to say you said it twice. So, or? And he goes, listen, I've about had it with you. And I went, and leaning in, please hit me, knock me out and give me a few minutes of peace in my fucking life at that point. But the whole thing is, what I got to say is, listen, I have a cell phone, and okay, this would be 2003. I have a cell phone, and I'm going to be about 20 minutes. I'll have a ride here. Where can I stand where I'm not going to be like being a problem for you? And he said, well, just right over here. I said, good. Now, in the morning, I'm going to come back at 9 p.m. and I'm going to be mic'd for sound and videotape from across the street. When I do, have the morning crew read the Constitution and its amendments. And when you get to the amendments, you don't have to read for it's the First Amendment. Make sure they understand that. And I'll see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Now, not at 9 o'clock the next morning, I saw no police. I didn't even see patrols passing by. I saw no Long Branch police. Toward Elberon, they would turn around right about there. They just weren't going up that far. I didn't also see Congressman Pallone go to church that morning with his wife Sarah, 3/4 of a mile away, where they go at 10:45 every fucking Sunday morning. They didn't go out, or they would have a ride right by me. You know, my
Yep.
First Amendment rights got me that moment. So I will do whatever I can now.
Yeah, I mean,
help
and that's why they're
celebrate that
there.
with you guys, you know? It's like, understand, they play a very literal, important part of my life. And it's what made it work. It's what made everything work. So that it's coming to a head at the Lavalette level. It's so like awesome. I mean, it's not, it's Lavalette, for crying out loud. My thing
Right.
with Lavalette is if you want to go from Seaside to Point Pleasant, you have to go through Lavalette. And I don't like
Yep.
driving through a jerk off town like that.
Yep.
You know,
Let me
it's
interrupt
Wally
here.
word. It's
Let me
Hooterville.
interrupt for a second here. I want to thank Pat Duff for ripping Wally a new one.
Oh,
Yeah. I just want to thank you, Pat, for doing that. That was a great job.
okay. Tell me about that real briefly. I kind of know you said, but give it a shout out here, would you? What happened, Lefty? Oh,
Yes, Pat. I
There
was
he
wondering
is.
who that was.
Here.
yeah.
I have my nipples out, so I'm trying to.
Yay.
Oh,
We
man.
support Pat
Oh,
Duff's
yeah.
Yeah, man. All right, I'm in. I'm in. No, I'm not.
I'm not. I'm not.
I
I'm out. I'm out.
knew Lefty was gonna turn. Yeah.
My nipples are close.
The only, honey, you know, the only person in here that would increase the views if they pulled their nipples out is you.
Okay, maybe I better take one for the team. All right.
Hey, Lefty. Oh man.
Pat,
Titties.
after you left, they told me to take my mask off. Wally told me to take my mask off.
Yeah, he said if you don't identify yourself and take your mask off, you're not going to be allowed to speak.
And what was your exact reaction that second? Did you just keep talking? Did you say
Yeah,
what
I
did
thought
you
I
do?
was getting arrested. I was like,
No,
okay.
no. He said that. What was said next by you?
I'm El Rampador.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Did you just keep talking?
Yeah,
Like,
I just,
He was actually during the time
just continued, right? Yeah.
he was pulling up to the podium when he told him to take his mask off. So while he was pulling up to the podium, he told him to take the mask off. When he came to the podium, he just said, "Hello, I'm El Rampador," and didn't take the mask off. So,
Holy shit.
but when I got there, what was so funny was I walked in first, and the one that arrested Mike, and I think you, Steve, Lucero,
Adam.
big guy.
Oh yeah, tell him what he said. Tell him, Pat. What did he say to you?
So when I walked in, you know, I had my camera right in his face, you know, like, and he said, "Hey, do you mind if I wand you?" You know, he had the wand there for the metal detector. I said, "I don't mind if you wand me." He goes, "And if you're going to be filming, please could you take a seat in this area?" I said, "Oh, you've made an area for filming. I like it. You're not going to arrest me?" He said, "No, I'm not going to arrest you. I know who you are." He goes, "I've seen your work in Medford."
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I said,
That's so cool.
yeah, and I said, "Well, then I guess you would know you probably don't want me here." He said, "Yeah, we probably don't want you here."
You're the mayor slayer. We don't want the mayor slayer in our room.
So,
Yeah, he slayed Wally. He
That's
slayed
good.
Wally.
so the
We don't want you here.
No, I dreamed about the day that Pat Duff would be in that room.
well, a couple days prior to that, I sent some emails to the administrator and the township attorney, and I sent to the township attorney like basically an ultimatum. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you drop the charges and I go away type of thing. And I do that in every town when I come into the town. I said, "Listen, it's a lot easier if you just, you know, you're wrong. You know, like admit you're wrong. Let's move on." And I leave.
Yep.
You know, and
You have a body of work that backs you up.
yeah, the city attorney refused to communicate with me, refused to get back to me at all. But John Bennett did. And by the way, my uncle and my aunt are very powerful lobbyists in the state of New Jersey. My uncle was actually the most powerful lobbyist in New Jersey. So, and John Bennett was in the legislature. So I dropped some names. He was like, "Oh shit," and he actually was crazy. As my uncle, they were having trouble having a baby, and like they're older, and him and my aunt, my mom's sister, were having trouble having a baby, and he was such good friends with my uncle that he came across a couple in Florida that had a baby that was up for adoption. And he called my uncle saying, "Listen, I have a wonderful couple that wants to give a baby up for adoption. They're very young." And, that actual day, my uncle found out that my aunt was pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So me and Mr. Bennett formed this little relationship pretty quickly.
A little relationship.
He was
Yeah,
my
I-
professor in college when he was
I mean,
governor.
He seems like a nice guy. I mean, like,
Yeah, I like John.
yeah. And so, listen, the cop seemed like a nice guy too. He just seems uneducated. He's not educated in the Constitution.
It's Sergeant Dum Dum.
Yeah, exactly. Good call.
Good call, the dum dum. I love that.
But what happened is Bennett called me the day of the meeting. He called me about 10:30 in the morning, and he said, "Mr. Duff, I want to let you know, I've got your email here. It's kind of funny because in my email I asked him a couple of questions. I asked him one is, am I going to be arrested when I show up filming?" And he said, "I'm going to let you know that I'm going to let the police know that anybody with the name Patrick is allowed to film." And I'm like, "John, are you kidding me? Like, what is wrong with you? Like you can't just give the right for just me to film, number one. Number two, I'm not asking you for permission at all. I'm letting you know."
Number three, some guy named Patrick could show up and ride that wave. And
Well,
you wouldn't even know it.
listen, Jim, I said to him, so the other part of my question, I could send you the email. It's funny. I said, when you do approve somebody, are you going to have some type of a tattoo that you put on their forehead or a sticker to identify that they're allowed to film? And he thought, he said, "I probably can't do that. You know that." I said, "Then you can't stop people from filming." He said, "What I want to do is I want to make it so they're not walking around during the meeting. I don't want them to walk around during the meeting. You know what I mean? And bother people." And I'm like, well, I understand that, but it doesn't really negate the fact that you arrested people. And I can't take back what happened, Mr. Duff. And I said, "Well, I'm coming."
Yeah, can pay for it though.
Yeah, I said, "Well, I'm coming tonight. I'm going to assure you this. I'm coming tonight. I'm not going. I'm telling you right now. I have not requested permission, but I'm going to be filming. And if you arrest me, it's going to be a hell of a time for you. Trust me." "Oh, you are not going to. Nobody is going to be arrested." I said, "People were already arrested." And then he admitted to me. By the way,
Wow.
he admitted to me because I said, "How?" When Jen Coombs came in, as Mike was talking about, and she was recording asking for an internal affairs investigation, how is it that they found out she had a warrant? He said, "Well, they called in her name." I said, "John," I said, "they can't just call in her name if she's not suspected of a crime or under a motor vehicle stop. And there's different access points at that point. Motor vehicle stop, it pulls that up, and if somebody has warrants and stuff, that'll come up. But if there's different checks. There's a criminal check and there's a motor vehicle check. And the motor vehicle check will bring up outstanding warrants, whereas the criminal check will bring up people's background too, right? So when they came out, they had a warrant printed out. They had already printed the warrant out for her. They flashed it to her. And what people don't know is she had a medical event. She almost had a heart attack.
Oh.
She had to be taken to the hospital. She was put in the hospital for over.
Wow.
She couldn't breathe. Imagine you have no, what happened was, and because I watched some of the trial, but I'll give a quick synopsis. There's a police officer that I guess feels that because she tapes everything. I mean,
Yeah.
Janet.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. A First Amendment auditor. Right. So he felt that since she tapes everything, somehow she was harassing him. He filed some sort of a, restraining order. And she was at a public event where he was also at the public event, and she was filming at the public event, and all of a sudden ran into him. She actually contacted, I believe, somebody from the police department and let them know. They said, "Don't worry, it's okay." That was on the 18th of, I think it was July last year or something like that. And then on the 19th, he went down and filed for a warrant for her arrest. The police officer that was in Monmouth County, understand, Asbury Park, right? So she then goes into on the 19th, actually, Lavalette. She was at Lavalette on the 19th first, and then came back on the 22nd. And that's when they arrested her for the warrant in Monmouth County without having the right to check her criminally. So that's part of what I talked about when I talked to Wally in my comments. You'll hear it, and also the unconstitutional arrest of you two. And Wally's a lawyer. I mean, he's a land lawyer, so I mean, he knows he's wrong, but he also knows he has a 20-block radius, and he's the king. I mean, he's the king of Lavalette.
Small town, man.
Yep, 1,800 people in it.
Yeah, and listen, during the summer you have 27,000.
Right.
That's what makes it so interesting to people outside this sphere. Lavalette, the Barrier Island. This is what makes it interesting to the rest of the state. As an example, I mean, it's look at what you just described. It's like a freaking little movie scene or something. It's exactly what it takes for what Lavalette really doesn't want, which is the publicity this is obviously going to bring. And they're going to come
in regards to that. Hang on a second. So the permits. So I got all their meeting minutes, and with that, they were talking about how they didn't want, Jersey Shore style coming in there, and they're going to deny all those. And 495 production that does Jersey Shore got permission to record for like a month and a half, but they're in there pretty much discriminating against anybody that wants to film some kind of show like that in the future. They're going to deny it.
Yeah, and the open request I put in for the video of Jen's arrest, they set out for 100 days.
Yeah, all my stuff's 100 days. So I talked to Bennett about that today, and he said, well, listen, we only have one person here. And I said, well, that doesn't matter. You need to hire more people, because it doesn't matter if 500 people ask for one or two different things. That's not voluminous. It's only voluminous if one person asks for 500 things.
Yeah, and
so
listen,
you need to hire more people. End of story.
Yeah. And what I did is I asked for a log of Oprah requests for the last 3 months to verify his claim that there's some sort of I've made 3 Oprah requests. That's it for me. Mike's made 6, I saw. So
I made a bunch. So when I got the the Ocean County Prosecutor Office's report on the police department, and I got all their SOPs. So like when we got arrested, they weren't supposed to fingerprint us. We were supposed to have a phone call. I invoked my 6th Amendment right for an attorney. Neither one of us got a phone call. I asked for the detainee log, so I'm waiting on that. And then all the training that they're supposed to have is supposed to go into their jacket. So I asked for all the training. He's supposed to sign off that he read all the ordinances, which we know there's no ordinance. So I asked for all that kind of stuff to prove that he didn't read it, or he signed off on it and he didn't read it, because you're enforcing something that doesn't exist.
He had to listen to Daddy.
Yes. Yeah. Daddy said, so now we need to get all water bottles that say Adam's tears or Wally's tears, and walk in there with their teardrops in the water bottle.
Well, I wanted
That's
to just
funny.
say
I
real
can
quick.
make you some real fast. Let's do it.
So is it like Lavalette Founders Day on Saturday? Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
So what they also did, by the way, is public comment at Lavalette meetings forever has been at the beginning of the meeting.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever. And then I look back at all their agendas, all their minutes show their beginning of the meeting.
And they can't just change that ad hoc.
They
They did.
Well, that's it. Well,
They've
that's
been
a
doing it every
continuation of the violation of the OPMA.
Yeah.
And you know why? And I'm telling you, because me and Mr. Bennett became friends, and I said, hey, you know what, Mr. Bennett, I want to come check out your town. So I'm going to bring my wife and my kid. We're going to go around. We're going to be out there. I'm going to come make some comments and go home. And I got to be really honest with you. I was so ready to be so nice and give the olive branch and say, let's be friends and all that. But when he extended that meeting, and then what they did was during the public comments, guys, I had my hand at first by far.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
up. While I was walking up, somebody else put their hand up, and he called on them. I was
Yep.
like,
Whoa.
By name.
I sat
By
down.
name.
Yes, I sat down. Again, I put my hand up immediately while I sat down. Just kept my hand up, so when he's done, I was the next, right?
Yep.
Nope. He picked another person right in front of me. Boop, they go up.
By name.
I run the meeting.
By
Yeah,
name.
it's my meeting, he says.
Three opinions of people that don't live here that don't matter.
So not only did they, so the good thing is, this is what I'd like to tell people, and I think what happens is a lot of these once they realize there's especially other people coalescing now, they're like, fuck, like, so they changed, number one, that you can tape, and they gave a section to tape.
Yeah,
They switched the entire meeting, their public comments, to the end of the meeting.
Yep.
And then you have this goober fucking picking his own people to make comments while somebody has their hand up.
Yeah.
So in so many ways, they violate. They violate
the
their
OPMA.
It's sort of like they prefer death by 1,000 cuts, and they've only got 500. So they're like going at it or something. I mean, they are totally self-inflicting. It's
Wild.
like,
It is
here,
wild.
let's make it worse.
It was such a boring meeting until Pat put his hand up during public session and he wasn't getting called on. Then the energy started getting a little pressurized. It's like, oh shit, Wally is starting to do his thing.
Yep.
So where can I see that, Patrick?
No. It happened prior to that, because when they were doing the council comments is when it happened. They said new business, and then they went to and that lady started talking about fucking just nothing, and they were doing that. They were waiting me out. They knew I had my wife and kid in the car, man.
They started talking about bench slots.
Yeah, they were. What color?
Well, bench slots.
Yeah,
we have two different. We have redwood and mauve, gray and black.
And then they were like, John, do you think you could take a poll to see if everybody would want to do red or black?
Yeah, and John's like, I'm not taking.
I'm not doing that.
What the fuck is going on here?
That's almost got to throw you a little bit, because when it gets ridiculous, even by standards you're used to, I guess you got to be careful not to give your incredulity away with hand gestures. Just sort of sit there and let them slit their own throat.
I laughed hysterical at that moment, though, when John said that, because then right after that, it was like, all right, we'll give it to Donnelly, who has to fulfill all the requests.
and
give her more shit.
What I thought to myself, because they did do a good job of that, getting me angry, and it threw me off, because I really wanted to touch on the mayor saying that people had a First Amendment right to their privacy. I'm like,
oh yeah, I wish you would have had that.
Yeah, where you're a lawyer, big guy. Where is that in the First? Was the word privacy in the First?
We never brought that up.
No,
but it's
their own agenda.
It's your First Amendment rights they're violating.
Correct.
We're violating your First Amendment rights because of our First Amendment.
Well, check this out, right? Check this out, Jim. So when they started the public comment section, right, all of the residents that they called on. Right, I watched them with their little hourglass. They have a 3-minute hourglass. None of the residents' public comments. They would not flip the hourglass the whole time. All of the residents got no flip of the hourglass. Well, and then I said to Lefty, "Watch. They're not doing it to nobody. And the second Pat gets up there, they're going to flip that shit as quick as they could. And the second that Pat said his name, boom, they flipped the hourglass. Look, you sons of bitches, you didn't do this to any of your residents.
Now, where did I see the hourglass thing? Something you put up, obviously. But what amazed me was not just that it was like they were doing this. Looking at the hourglass.
Yep.
Like
as soon as it was over, all right, time to go.
It's over. They were so ready for it.
Your opinions don't matter. Fuck off.
Total opposite of what you're saying. Again, layer upon layer of this is why I don't have any real skin in the game, but I have this incredible vicarious thrill out of what you guys are going through. And me, got no money, got no other real help, but I can really help put this in understandable forms for other people. And I get to do that.
You know what we should over request? How many times has Wally hit the red button that's below his seat that nobody can see to call the police during a meeting? believe
we
there's a
should be able to
button.
open request that.
I believe there's a button.
Oh, jeez.
Because
I've already
anytime he
sent-
gets like all disruptive or starts to like get flustered, it's almost like he's looking down and has his hand on a button. I've seen it more than once.
Yeah.
I sent the 100-day extension to CJ Griffin already, and she started fucking laughing like that is ridiculous, and said give them 7 more days, so they'll have 14-day total for the video for Jen Coombs, and then we'll sue because we've been looking for a big dummy on this one because extensions, if they keep going 7 days, it's very difficult to say, hey, that's not a
Reasonable.
it's reasonable, yeah. That because it is reasonable. 7 more days, 7 more days, 7 more days, but that takes them a lot of time. So what they do is they just say, hey, go 100 days. So if they come back and they say no, then we're going to sue based on the 100 days. So it's gonna hit the court pretty quickly, very quickly.
Good. I'll send her mine then too.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
that's slick. That is.
Oh
slick.
yeah,
I
I'm
didn't-
12-0, baby.
That's
I'm
a
12
brand new wrinkle to me. Oh,
Uh,
awesome, man. Good move.
So
That's-
and they like with here's an example, right? Like sometimes there's some pride that happens with these municipalities and entities, and I sued Stockton University. Really, they hired this hit team basically of historians that go after me from MLK work. They did my academic investigation and blah blah blah. Let's just say that. And part of it was a woman named Michelle McDonald, who's the provost of Stockton University. And at the beginning of the pandemic, when they were trying to get people to come back to school, she plagiarized a article from another person when she sent out her COVID, here's how we're going to get back to school. She 50% of her article was plagiarized, and they found it. And she had to admit she plagiarized it, and nothing happened to her, right?
Of course.
But as the provost, literally, if a student did that, she'd expel them.
Yep.
So I asked, so she basically kind of was hidden for a little while, and then NJ.com released an article on September 26th. So I wanted September 26th through October 1st emails, and they said no to that. So I said, okay, I just want the 6th through the 9th then. Me and CJ agreed that would be a good amount where they couldn't say no. And all emails for those days. And it's 1,000 emails.
Yep.
So she was getting bombarded. And so what happened is I won in court to get the emails, and they said, okay, you won, but we're going to appeal, right? So it's been 37 days. They have not filed an appeal. They have no real right to file an appeal, and they're probably redacting the shit out of all the emails right now.
Yep.
What's the window for filing an appeal?
20 days. Yeah. But listen, you know what you want? No. I apologize. It's what, in this case, the appeal was 45 days they had. And it wasn't that they had 45 days to file an appeal. It was 45 days to execute the order from the court. So if they don't file the appeal by that time, then they have to execute the order within 45 days. And we did a stipulation to give them an extra 14 days. So that would mean by the end of this month, I would get these emails, 1,000 emails from this fucking, provost of plagiarism, I call her.
Oh, man.
But what I'm saying, I want to say this, it's going to set precedent. And I think this township is dumb enough to challenge those requests and set precedent that we need for these time extension bullshits.
Yep.
Because people are still taking advantage of all the COVID thing. They did the thing where there was no challenging extensions because COVID. Now that's over.
Yep.
But nobody's challenged it.
At least 4 out of my 6 requests have that 100-day extension on it right now.
Yeah. So
I think all the ones I just did have it.
I'll talk to CJ about that because maybe we do it in some sort of class.
Yep.
That would be interesting. They have a class action Oprah lawsuit against them.
Yo, I was telling these guys before, they got to hire John Zombrowski from Sayreville. He's got his company, Extra Duty Solutions, that offers up help in these situations, township paperwork, all that kind of crap. They got to call Zombrowski.
Jesus
Well,
Christ.
I
You
gotta
can't
tell
make
you,
this shit up.
yeah, you know, I gotta tell you, I'm watching this under perspective of being in the right frame of mind to hear all this. And part of my mind just to, if there was a lawyer just looking in on this, in other words, 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 lawyers, like, the hell's going on? Let's.
Well, there are.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
Justin
no,
Lamb
no,
is
but-
watching.
no, I'm talking about to this, what I just saw tonight. You know, because largely I'm sitting back listening. And
Yeah.
I'm assimilating this not as a lawyer, just as somebody that if I get it, is there a lawyer that could say, okay, the problem, guys, the problem is, no, I can't see a lawyer starting a conversation with this in that manner. You know, I mean, hey, we got a good, this is like,
Yeah.
holy crap, slam dunk. And I'm
Yeah,
looking.
we did everything.
I'm looking at 2 people out of 5 here that are like these outstanding paralegals getting everything done. It's without a lawyer. That this should be a lawyer's dream. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they should be calling you as soon as we get off of here, saying, "Listen, could I listen in next week as well, or something?" I mean,
Oh, it's this law case is such a slam dunk because we asked for permission.
yeah,
We went in, we were quiet, we got arrested within a
Yes.
minute. We were sitting down when we got arrested. We did
The only-
nothing that we we're not supposed to do.
The only
And
time I was arrested out of those 3 times was when I had permission. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Steve,
yeah,
very-
but then you followed up with this mountain of follow-up work already. You're not just sitting around with a clock changing the day for you every, and you've got it already. Am I wrong that this isn't just like a lawyer's wet dream?
oh, it's
That
got to be.
You've
no,
got,
you're
you've
right.
got all of this. So
and
is
Jim,
there a way to contact a lawyer that might fit this and say, hey, we're gonna be talking about this next Thursday, why don't you look in, or
Yeah,
something?
we'd love a lawyer to jump in on it.
Well, but can you not sort of send out feelers that might phrase it in a way they'd go, so all I gotta do is, yeah, I got time. I'm curious, because I don't know.
Yeah,
It's-
if I was a lawyer, I'd be like, I really don't have the
Yeah.
time, but I'm totally taking this.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that this is something that even within minutes, if I'm imagining, if I were a lawyer, I'd be like, and I'd be listening to what you've all filed and what you've done and where you are and everything you're saying beyond the obvious even. And I'd be thinking, holy shit, I would like to be involved, you know, where it's not a matter of, okay, what can I get up front to help you get
Yeah.
through the initial phase, you know? And it's the technology. I mean, geez, I'm a technological dinosaur. I'm here availing myself of the benefits as well as any half-assed lawyer would be able to.
Well, if my motion to dismiss is heard and approved on October 10th, we already have a lawyer ready to go. But if it's not, and they start playing their lawyer games, and I wouldn't doubt that they do, you know, and try to drag this out because they know we're going to sue.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah,
a lawyer
obviously-
to walk in
But,
there and
yeah.
shake it up and go, what are you doing? Now,
If
I might reach out to my cousin and see what he would charge, but I kind of want to have some money ready to go where it's like, hey,
Yes.
listen, I got $5,000. All we need you to do is really have this dismissed.
You know, with them dragging it out, like you think they might do. I'm
It's
just
malicious
saying-
prosecution.
No, but a very basic other way of looking, maybe from their point of view, is the longer we drag it out, the more it gives them time to get somebody interested in our obvious screw up. I would think it might be in their best interest, like you're thinking, to, okay, we're gonna dismiss it. And then, and see what they can do not to add insult to their own self-inflicted injury. So,
Yeah, you would think at some point they just lick their wounds and just walk
no,
away.
you would think, but it's like they're reaching into their wallet saying, no, we're not licking our wounds here. Let's give you some more reparations ahead of time.
It's not their wallet though, Steve. Jim.
Yeah, but the point is however they drag it out, this is small town Wally World, Lavlet, downtown USA, New Jersey here. It's like, it's a media bonanza once
And
you
that
get
video that
started.
got put out, that
All of it. It's a
caused a
media,
lot of waves.
you know, so again, I got no skin in the game. I don't want to be too excited because I know how it is when I put myself up front and people are real excited for him. And I'm thinking, yeah, but I'm the one that if this goes south, I'm in big trouble. I mean, I've been in that position, so I don't want to be that guy. But I am really enjoying that you're going through with it. You seem stoic. You seem like you're really, and then everything Pat said, it's holy crap.
Well, I open requested all phone calls into the police department too after that video went viral, because I know people called up.
Oh, they did. Yep. They bombarded the Facebook pages, police page, the town page.
Yeah, well, the police page is now restricted.
Yeah.
That was the response. Yeah, and then they restricted the comments.
All they had to do is let you film. You want to talk about a map being rolled out. What's up?
And it would have been the most boring event ever.
Really, I'm sorry to have missed it, but I share
It
that
had
initial
3 views.
assessment, or something went on and I couldn't be there. I remember feeling
would've-
real bad, but
It would have been a video that had like 3 to 10 views, and then now look at the response.
Yep.
Now
And they're-
100,000, almost 100,000 people across the country.
and they're not making it go away as soon as possible. Okay, you gotta throw out normal logic dealing with them, and
It's assholes and egos. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't assume they'll react to anything in the way you might assume, but
Well,
going
They
against the grain only is gonna benefit you in the end, which is why they don't have any real teeth. They have nothing. You're not an underdog. You're the one with the power here. I don't know how they're gonna play it out, but
Yeah, he's
sure.
getting spanked by what he thinks are just fucking people that are pot smokers.
Okay, look, if either one of them guys you're talking about saw this conversation tonight, I think they'd be second guessing whatever path they think they're on. I really do. That's
Yeah.
the fun part, it's like you're holding the guns they don't know you have, and it's this right now, the two of them I'm looking at right here, and
Well, and now, so I filed
Mikey too.
I filed a tort claim for them violating my rights for recording, and then instead of them addressing that and stopping that from happening in any future cases, 5 minutes later they arrested him.
Right.
Again, more icing on the cake. How much
I want-
icing do you got?
One thing
we
I
got
know
plenty.
for certain is if they could take it back, they would. I know that. Look what they've done since this.
You would think.
But
No,
they
But I
agree.
disagree.
Because
Again-
again, tell me why. Because I
Maybe
was
not.
thinking maybe you would say
Because
that.
We've been
He's
wrong
all
so
pissed
far.
off that we're winning. They're still doing the ad hoc shit of, okay, we're gonna still restrict you, and we're gonna put up these signs because the Taurus versus Pine Hill says that's a reasonable restriction. But again, you're not reading the entire fucking thing because it says it has to be codified and not ad hoc. So you're still not learning. They haven't even introduced fucking anything into an ordinance.
Mm-hmm.
And they also
So
allowed
they're not
for
learning.
journalists to walk around the whole time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, the one time we were there, Chris Angulo was walking around and bouncing off the walls.
He was bouncing off each wall.
So they're concerned about people walking around. Well, you and I sat down within a minute, got arrested while we were sitting down.
Steve, I was a bit rambunctious towards the end.
Okay. Where do I get to see that, Pat? Where can I see video of your attendance that night?
Well, my comments, there's on the YouTube, my YouTube page. I can send you.
Yeah,
But,
but I'll find it.
Lefty has the comments for me, Lefty, and Mike. He's got a good video of that. And then what do you call it? I just want to say this because I'm gonna head out in a second.
Yeah, me as well.
I think the pride is what we have here, and that always comes before the fall. And Wally's very prideful, and it's very interesting to see. He's got both of his sons in a position, and also the Lamb guy. If you look at, there's an open request to ask for the pay of the department, and you'll see that all the Lucero brothers and Lamb all make exactly the same.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, it's like there's like an agreement, like, 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 we'll just everybody rise to the top at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like
So,
Oh, man.
it's
Yeah, we'll
mafia.
take the taxpayers' money and ride it out to the sunset.
Exactly. And I
Yeah,
like
after I'm chief, you
like,
could be chief, and then he could be chief.
they're bringing in $1.3 million in beach tag fees. And they said they're not allowed to spend any of it on the municipality, but they spend all of it every year. And it is what it is. I'm glad they get that.
Yeah.
We got to protect the beach, but that place is ripe for corruption. So,
Oh yeah.
hell yeah.
Mike McHale, the one that he's already really busted that town up pretty good. He has agreed to help us print anything we need to get it out to that area, because they're very controlling of their Facebook pages, Lavalette. Like,
Yeah.
you can't get into them,
Well,
So
the one guy said anybody that's a member of the New Jersey Corruption Watch will be banned. So he asked a question of like, why were we there? Was it about cannabis? So I responded, which I posted up on the Lavalette official Facebook page. It's like, I answered you, and then you fucking blocked me. So you have no concerns over why we were there. It's all about you guys and like the locals, and you don't live here, so fuck off.
Oh, yeah.
well, listen, you
So
guys
they can't erase it off the Lavalette page. So they could talk all their shit on their little fight them pages, and we're just gonna, look at the Lavalette page. Look at the reviews for the police department and for the town. They're a 1.0 with like 13 reviews on each.
The police page where they disabled comments. Do you think that's for everybody?
Yes.
Well, I left a comment somewhere. Obviously, I went to see what I could leave a comment on, and I don't think it was exactly what you're talking about. I had something to do with people who go to Lavalette rather than from Lavalette, and whatever I wrote, I'm 90% sure that here I am, that it got posted because it wasn't overt, but it was I heard, and it was made like I heard, and it alluded to what's going on.
Right.
Just to put it out there because I can. It's free. I got a keypad. I think
Right.
Who wouldn't, right? But
well, they want to control that narrative and make it sound like we're a bunch of fucking assholes.
well, they do, but to do that, they would want to keep this out of court, not put it in court.
Right.
Which makes it fascinating,
Yeah.
Are they really? Now, I'm not going to talk about any national stage politics, but I've seen stupider shit done on the national stage.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So,
I mean, and if any attorney is watching this or friends of an attorney, we'll gladly, put you on with a combo of you get these two charges dropped, and then you could do the civil rights lawsuit, and you get a third of a nice payday.
So is this recorded in any way that you could simply send to a lawyer's office this whole night here?
Well, I have sent the video of me getting arrested to the aid.
No, I mean this whole discussion where somebody could say,
yeah, I think Lefty records this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Is it not a good idea to try to farm this whole thing out? Maybe
Well,
somebody.
I think our best bet is to send them the actual videos and say, "Hey, watch this."
Well, yeah.
And it's a cut and dry case.
Yeah.
We went in there, we recorded. Within a minute, you see we get arrested, and we need representation to have the charge dropped, which doesn't apply. And they have no ordinance. That's why they didn't charge us with an ordinance violation.
Absolutely.
And then we have the civil rights violation that we want to go after.
Well, I'm not the guy that knows how to exactly go about facilitating that, but that's exactly what you should do. Because seeing those and listening to them, especially on headphones, as I like to, it becomes incredibly clear. But I'm saying also to back it up and say we talk about this once a week. You might have, I'm just saying the work you have done and everything Patrick just said is so impressive. And you actually do get that a little bit through your interactions. But I don't think that lawyers would think that people go to the level that you're at now with being paralegal, ready, knowing your rights. How can you express that to lawyers that you're not just your normal,
You have to email, and try to get a consultation. Now,
Yeah.
I did email a couple lawyers and I got nothing back. Now, the one with Taurus said, yeah, we think your rights are violated. But they think that they're too busy, and then they were supposed to get back to me, so I'm gonna have to email them again.
Well, I'm losing my standing at my own coalition for medical marijuana for reasons that are laudable and as far as I'm concerned. But I have not yet pulled the string on the fact that it was what they brought up in 2007 that is the New Jersey Supreme Court citing, agreeing with what the ACLU did in a court exactly like this. Why would they not be the ones to follow this up 8 years later? Or okay.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah,
I mean, they did
that's
an amicus
embarrassing.
brief on it.
No, but I'm saying that you or me would not maybe receive the same as somebody at the coalition, like say maybe Ken Wolski, who would get in touch as Ken Wolski, the head of the coalition. If it's not right up your alley, just want to let you know. Here's a couple
Yeah, I
of
mean,
things.
maybe a leader of some coalition or something
Yeah, I
can
don't know about
advocate
leader,
for us,
but
trying to get us a lawyer.
he has a perspective of being a leader. I guess that would count.
Yeah, I mean, because
I'm throwing some shots here. I can't say much about right now.
yeah, I mean, if we had, if I think if my motion doesn't go through, and we had a regular attorney, I think that he would be able to file and get it dismissed.
Yeah, well, listen, we have a monthly coalition public meeting every second Tuesday of the month. And we're having it ours next Tuesday.
Okay.
And I'm going to be talking about this. It's public. I think maybe you should sit in if you have time, just listen to, I mean, it's a coalition meeting. You don't have to even say anything, but it seems like we should want to take part, because as the coalition, we've relied on our First Amendment rights a lot of times.
Yeah.
And when I relied on my First Amendment rights by getting arrested at a George Bush rally in 2004 or 5, whatever it was, the coalition paid my $400 fine for doing what I did, which I had First Amendment right to do.
Right. And I think too, the recording aspect of it, because if you go to all these different council meetings and record you going after the council, you could, create a montage of that, and you're putting it out to your members and trying to advocate for the coalition, and God forbid you get arrested for doing that.
Yeah, well, listen, we had I can't talk about board meetings in particular, but a general thing is I stand outside my own coalition. So another whole thing, I had to read them some riot act just on our quarterly board members meeting like last night, and it was very revealing. And it's not particular as to why, but that also puts me in position of saying that we are, my opinion was expressed as a coalition, we're impotent as can be, and it's because we've become enablers. If it was Animal Farm, the pigs are walking. How do you want to look at it? Yeah. And we're not taking on Senate President Scutari for all the wrong reasons, because Ken doesn't want to piss him off, because we don't have a working relationship on. And I laid it out in front of the board and in front of a couple of new members, and I really let it fly, and it was very liberating. And
you got to push the envelope.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, one, they can't get rid of me. Two, I'm a co-founder. No matter if they did, I open doors anytime I want with my business. Co-founder, look at me, 20 years. So what I'm saying is that we've relied on these First Amendment rights. It would do good to help our brand as a coalition to do whatever we can to help you with your First Amendment rights in this case, which was brought about by just trying to find out why the freaking maps aren't rolled out. Why didn't they answer Brian Cummings? It would have been over with, but they didn't. Yeah. And then it was you. Why didn't they but they didn't. You didn't ask for this, but you're following through. You're not bowing down. Yep. And we should support that. How can we support that? But I get to put that up, and it's one thing to do it at a board meeting, but I get to do it Tuesday night at a public monthly meeting. You might want to be there to see it. You don't have to weigh in. You know, it's
Yeah,
public.
hell yeah.
Yeah, you get in, you know.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, all of you.
Where's that meeting at?
Well, it's a Zoom meeting.
Where?
It's just, it's like this. I'll give you the code. I'll give you where
Oh,
you.
okay. Oh,
yeah.
yeah, so we should be able to do it then.
Yeah, it's our monthly meeting. It used to be at the library, but since pandemic, we've grown to like Zoom meetings, and I really like it because I actually get to look in the face of people that I'm talking to when
Yeah.
I'm having an epiphany and I'm fucking exploding at them at the meeting, and I'm getting to look at them, and it's not like really looking at them, but I get to see them better than like in a room looking
Yeah.
at them. Like I'm looking at you guys right now. I can
Yep.
say shit and see all your reactions at the same time.
Yep.
You know, and I was doing it and I was seeing reactions of the new person who's like, whoa, what's going on here? But anyway, Tuesday, I get to bring this up, you know. So we'll see what the week brings by the time we get to Tuesday. And I can't do much before that. But let's see, Tuesday, you're talking about a court date on Monday, right? Is that
It's
right?
October 10th.
Yeah, October.
October. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Good. Hey, see that? I'm not the prepared guy, but and my strong suit isn't this shit. You know, it's what I'm about to do. I can help affect some shit going on there. Oh, this is good, man. I fit here. I'm kind of thinking my talents are going underused at the coalition, and I'm looking for a new organization to work more closely with. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I can tell your frustrations about that, Jim.
You know, I don't lose the doors that they open, but there's some things I want to do, and it also for another time maybe, but it's they're about to do some video stuff, like it's gonna do a shit to send out to legislators, and doing it in this old, oh my God, I can't say much about it, but I'm shocked. And I'm thinking that among other things, I want to parallel what they're going to do, which is get stuff on Coalition's YouTube channel. But it's going to be, they're going to be like paying money to, well, just say somebody who we're associated with, you know, good deal at a studio, home studio, but totally capable, when it doesn't take that. It just takes who we all are. And for instance, Mary Pangburn's in pain. She's the one that I buy stuff for. I'm gonna go over and maybe see her tomorrow. She's in pain. She's consented to me being able to ask her simple question in pain about Homegirl, what it would mean to her while she's in pain, and I'll be pushing the start and stop button of some video stuff. So I don't have to do any real editing. What I'm gonna get is a person in pain that every time her and me talk about this, when she's in pain, I'm like looking for a lens going, my God, if this was video, it would open so many eyes. So it's that I can get probably tomorrow. And she's good with us, like, hey, you know, this is what we need to do. When you're in pain, talk about it. Don't just suffer in silence, you know, and maybe we can start something. Now, me presenting that to the coalition, hey, you know, we could do blah, 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 blah. You know what else? No, it loses everything. So I want to do something like that, and I'm going to go over and get some snippets, and I'll share them with you, and you'll see if you think I'm right. Because when she's in pain, talking about what it would mean to her, no matter how I phrase it, I'll hit the go button. I'll say something to her. We're going to keep it under 18, 20 seconds, 25 at the most, probably less. And I'll ask it another way, and I'll do it again. And I'll keep doing it till it comes out or make you want to cry. And that's all it fucking takes. And I can't get my own coalition to say, let's do stuff like that. But in the interim, I think the CMMJ needs to step up and simply pull whatever string they might have at New Jersey ACLU or ACLU New Jersey, and say,
that would be perfect.
And say, take a look at this and tell me it isn't exactly what you went to bat for in 2007.
Yeah.
And they're going through this alone. don't make us ask. Take notice, and include nothing but your two things, with
Yeah,
a
the two
note.
videos of the body worn camera.
With a note that says you have taken on the force of paralegals that have just what you need if you have any questions and how to get in touch with you. Now, I can ask them to do that. It's all done at the touch of a key. Ken's going to do it whether he likes it or not. And yeah, who knows? You got to go fishing. You got to put all lines in the water you can. But the fact it's when I read the 2007 summation of why this was all decided how it was, it's like it's you guys. It's you. It's the same exact thing. And just asking for what involvement would it take for them at this level? And that I'm going to tell Ken that I want this to be a public request. In other words, not behind closed doors. If they're going to say no, I want to be able to say they turned it down.
Yeah. No, I love that, Jim. I love that, man.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, if you want to turn it down, I'm going to make that public.
Yep.
And I get to do that. And it may or may not provide me with, I want it done by email. It's a paper trail, email trail right there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna bring that up at the board meeting. If you want to see me hijack it and ambush them, it's public.
Yeah, send us the link. I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah, definitely watch it.
Yeah, watch it, take part, be available to answer questions.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna get going.
All right, good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going in a little bit too. Not right now, but good talking to you, Steve, man.
Yep, good talking to you guys.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, bye.
Good night.
Yeah, this is pretty interesting.
Our case is to the T of Taurus.
Yep. 2000. It's like, see, I'm an equal opportunity mother freaker. What, I don't want to say motherfucker. What would I say? Oh, geez, I just said it. I'm sorry.
Mother bitches is better.
Yeah. Mother frigger. But I'm just saying that no, it's not a polite request to the NJ, ACLU, NJ, they call themselves rather. It's a request that will be made quite public. You turned it down, and the exact nature of the request will then be, here you are, and you can live with that all you want, but fact is it couldn't be more up your alley. And not taking part in what kind of guiding, what stage are we at where it's like any real effort for them? Asking not to do anything other than contact you guys. So the whole request isn't to represent. If anything, it would be to write a friend of the court brief, which really it gets read at court as if they're there. It does count. But just to get in touch first. If you're not going to do anything, this is different. It's not where you get requests from everybody all year long. You answer a small amount. I've looked at the website. They don't even answer. They don't answer more than they don't say no. Sorry, it just goes unanswered. I'm not impressed. I'm saying this jumps not to the front of the line, but to the point where they get in touch. Read this, get in touch, do you the courtesy. And if they don't want to go further than that, everybody's done what they can, But it's going to be interesting bringing this up at at the monthly meeting, because Ken's already going to think I might jump his shit for what went on at the board meeting for what I can actually say at a monthly meeting, but it's not about that at all. It's about First Amendment. It's about that they paid $400 as a brand new nonprofit to pay my penalty I had no money for the George Bush thing with Evesham Township. And they paid it, and then they got questioned by whoever keeps track of nonprofit doing shit and said that we couldn't do that. That it was like they had is the wrong thing to do. It's jeopardized our status. We had to put on double secret probation or some fucking shit, But point is they were willing to jump to it. I did that without telling them I was going to do it. It got lots of publicity, exactly like I knew it would, exactly the kind I knew it would, and it cost me $400. And they went, and I'm just saying, if you could pay $400 for me, you can find $350 for them, and that don't make you no Loch Ness monster. I'm sorry, you got to be a South Park fan if you anything about that. $350. Oh no, $350. He must be the Loch Ness monster. But anyway, it would be a ceremonial thing that would get it to $1,000. I would be saying, listen, anything could happen between now and Lefty's next podcast season. So why not consider this part of his podcast season and put up some money to support it? It's Sativa Cross sponsored as Sativa Cross sponsored could be. How is this different than our State House podcast? In other words, support. And they can say yes or no. But what went on at that board meeting made it real easy for me to be how I need to be, So I'm good for that, I couldn't even sleep that night. I can't even say why, but trust me.
Well, but think about it, Jim. If you didn't react to how you're feeling, you would never get sleep. You would have never made it to bed, and that would be every night. So
Oh man, yeah. It was
like that.
It was almost out of control when I realized the reaction and how not to. And I'm not talking about milliseconds. I'm not talking about a whole train of thought. I'm talking about that instant. Holy crap! And without saying anything, this may or may not be about that meeting, because I can't talk about what goes on at meeting. But imagine if I were asking somebody to get in touch with Senate President Nick Scutari and say, as the coalition, we're requesting that you give Joe Vitelli permission to put this, post it in the Senate Health Committee, Chairman of the Health Committee. And I was met with not just one, but a couple of, but we've tried to do that already, and we already tried. No, he didn't really get back. We tried, whatever. And when I said when, I can't say who or when, where or what in this hypothetical situation, said a while back, and my bells went off. I could feel my blood starting to boil. I said, when? Are you telling me it's so long ago that you don't remember? What are you saying? When? Well, maybe like a month and a half ago. Okay. To hear that we asked him and didn't get a reply a year and a half ago is a reason for not.
A month and a half or a year and a half?
A month and a
yeah. No, a year and a half.
A year and a half.
You said a year.
Okay, keep this between us unless this is out there and somebody sees it. I don't really give a flying fuck anyway. I'm sorry. I get to say that now. Point is, it was from more rational minds. It came from, it was surprised. And Joanne Zito wasn't there. She would have been a backing up voice of all this. And others were probably stunned. And then I accused what would be considered a fearless leader of trying to preserve a perceived relationship with the Senate president that you do not have a relationship with, trying to think that doing this would threaten that relationship defines why you should do it. Because if it did threaten that relationship, you don't have it. You follow me?
Yeah.
It's like checkmate, only nobody saw it but me. Nobody thought of it in that terms but me. And I said, listen, do we have a quorum to take a vote? Because I'd like to take a vote on it. And we didn't have a quorum. I wanted to push a vote right then to see if we should simply ask them politely, please, send a picture. We all get on our knees like this and say, please, Senator Scutari, we'll kiss your ass. Just let it get fucking heard. And no, because we already have a month and a half ago in a 2-month session.
Year and a half.
Year and a half. I know. See, I can't even say it. It's implausible, And then I brought up, look, we also went and Lefty, you were there, right? At the meeting where it would medical cannabis would be able to be covered by pharmaceutical for the aged and disabled and senior goals. And we went to the committee hearing, the health committee, where this bill passed out. And that was 16 months ago, a little less than a year and a half ago. And it's been sitting in some sort of financial committee of some sort. In other words, it gets sent somewhere to die. And we are impotent. We're the coalition. Well, what the hell? Why have we not been beating this drum? And it's going along with this. We've totally lost the impetus for taking part at that level. I don't belong there. I don't, you know, I want to work with you guys. Can I come play with you?
Can I come play in your sandbox?
Yeah, right. You know, but
what kind of toys do you have? Do you have any cool sandcastle pals?
I got some real good plans already 3/4 through that we could reach. Oh yeah. And the coalition thinking me describing, hey, well, what we're gonna do is, and we'll get this thing, it'll be look great, and we'll send it to all the senators. And I'm like, so how, what you're saying is what? You're gonna put it on the coalition's YouTube channel and send them the link? I mean, what are you talking about? I mean, you know, it was in this weird context of like we were sending them a freaking VHS, a little compact disc of some sort. No, it's like you put it on your YouTube channel, and here's what I got. But then how do you promote it? I mean, if you don't promote it, it's no good. How do you promote it? I go, you don't promote it if it's not on the channel. You take one step at a time. You get it on the channel and you promote it. It's not rocket scientist, you old fucking man. No, actually, I did say we got to stop being old men, because look at us, and what are we standing on now? What do we got in the pipeline? If somebody looked at this meeting, if I didn't know anything about this and they looked, I'd one, be embarrassed for all of us. And two, I think this is one impotent organization that has absolutely no teeth. And maybe they helped get something done in the past, but they're fucking worthless now. They're along for the ride. We're going to the NECAN conference. Oh, we got a table in Atlantic City. Yeah, for what? Oh my God. Yeah, anyway, it was sort of a crossroads, and then some good things happened, and life has a way of pulling me back in. In this case, oddly enough, I was going to see William Haney today.
William, how's he doing?
He's not only not broken, he's rolling along, and I'm trying to keep him focused on now, not down the road, what you'd like it to end up like, and honestly, it's exhilarating in a way. I can get there in 35 minutes over the Burlington Bristol Bridge. It's a 2.5 hour round trip. I talk about whatever he wants to. I do him more good in that time I'm with him than anybody there all week long. And then I take a call or two, and it's as long as I want. And it's like where I belong then. It's like I'm the guy. Okay, I get it. I'm cool with that. And then everything seems to work out right. So today I had to go a little early because I make sure I'm not late, because I had to leave right on time early to get back, because Kathy's daughter had a 40th birthday thing tonight, which I was talking about earlier. And I want to get back in time in time for that. And I went early, and I'm on the way in. There was a guy standing there just like he should have been smoking a cigarette or on a phone. He wasn't. He was like 12 feet out the door under a canopy, just, it's a nursing home. I kind of get how things go. And I have these receptors going, side to side, say, hey, how you doing, man? He went, I'm doing. And I go, hey, listen, I'm a little bit early, What's up? What are you doing here? Not having a cigarette or nothing. He goes, nah, my wife's in here. She's not getting out. But he wasn't like crying. He was like just pensive, thinking about it. And I'm like, look who he's running into. Look who he's running into. And I had 10 extra minutes to talk to his name. He's like Joe. I'm Jim. I told him we're both in the top 6 names. We'll forget each other's name, I'll call you Jim. You call me Joe, whatever, But we talked, and I told him about my insurance policies having everything in its place, and when it's somebody's time, I don't look back and wish I'd done this or that. And he's going, yeah, I got the same policy. Mine's in full effect. And I'm like, awesome. That means we can talk. And we did. And that was weird. What I had to say to him, like, meant so much to him at that moment. And I'm like, I'm like doing this, like being him, and thinking, I've had moments like that, and I remember every fucking one of them. He's gonna remember this. It's fucking
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah.
And I walked in, and it's the first time I'd ever been in time to see William. It was a half a minute after 2, and we got this joke. I say I'll be there at 2, but sometimes I'm a little late, so I'm a little late. And I say, okay, I'll be there at 2. I might be there at 2:05, but if it's later than 2:10, don't worry. I get there at 2:15. So I explained this to him, and I say, okay, this time I'm gonna be there at 2. I'm not saying anything else. No numbers. Don't fucking ask. And he bursts out laughing, knowing exactly what I'm saying. Not only did I got there at 30 seconds after, but I had time for this talk with Joe, and I gave him my card and explained things. And it was like, it's, to me, it's not the God thing. It's not organized. It's a nature flow that when this shit happens, it lets me feel like I'm in some sort of flow. I don't need to fit into a box to describe it and take part with a group that thinks this way and that, and I'm getting it done.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what a good. That's
Okay, I'm pointing at you, Mike. You can't see me, but I'm pointing at you. I'm like,
I know exactly what you're saying.
yes,
Jim,
you do.
That is a fire story. I
So
love
do you, but
Yeah.
I know you
operating
especially know.
within that flow.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than those kinds of moments, and
Now-
it's also extra special due to the fact that you were actually like early, or
It was,
on time.
I was there. I didn't want to be early.
Right.
It's like I was, and then that happened. It was like,
Something-
oh my God, I got the time,
I never care to put much thought into like how that stuff works out, because at the end of the day, you just don't know.
Don't put anything.
But at the end of the day, or whatever, those are undeniable moments. They're very powerful.
Well, you know what? If it greases my wheels, I'm good with it. It doesn't matter. That's all I need to know. How did it make me feel? That's it. I don't need an explanation. Well, here's what happened, Jim. No, I don't need to know. It was like really freaking cool. And then the visit was good. The ride home was awesome. The celebration was great. I had way more beer than I should have, but it worked out to a real nice evening. Apparently, I had no ill effects to sit here without making a total fool of myself. But then again, what would I have to do that? Come on, I got relativity factors that are bars of unattainable. So all this was it's good for me. I'm more where I belong here than at a coalition meeting anyway. So I'm hoping that there are people that have resources. I don't mean necessarily for the poor thing, but who we are and what we do, when I include myself as well, is interesting to some people. And for them, they could peel off 10 grand and say, what would you do? And we'd light the fucking world on fire, not just like grease hands and palms and things. It's sort of like there are people that would be that interested, because you guys are actually kind of known, Bong Holio, El Rampador. But then you take the masks off, and here you are. You're doing a First Amendment case now, and it's not a fight you chose to have. It's one that was brought to you, and it affects everybody. And like I always say, you go to the far right, I want my Second Amendment rights, I don't want my First Amendment rights. I want my guns, and I want to be able to talk about them and say whatever I want. You can't stop me. Yeah, First Amendment rights. I agree. We all agree on that. Left, right, middle, everybody fucking agrees on First Amendment rights. This is a First Amendment right case. It's about accessibility. It's about Brian Cummings, NS patient who couldn't get an email answer about what about the maps? What about
who wants to go to the goddamn beach?
Wanted it.
Go to the beach.
Wanted an answer. He didn't even get told no. He didn't get met with a reply. He got ignored. And you guys went to make that right, and then you got arrested. And if that ain't a story that Middle America can get the fuck involved with, then fuck Middle America. I'm sorry.
Shit, man. I cannot feel more the same way about the whole thing, you know? That's why it's been interesting to see the response, amongst everybody.
I don't think people realize the core of what we're talking about here. I think it's that summation they got arrested filming at a council meeting, and the rest is static.
I'm positive that's exactly what's going on.
It isn't, because it's too interesting to deny. Now, that article, what news source was it that was posted? The one I read,
Ocean Star.
Yeah, that was pretty good, and I'm surprised that didn't get stuff done. But it does be like something's going on. It's not hard for even somebody like me to use that link to send to any contacts I might have or not, or anybody. It's like, are you missing this shit? Listen, I don't think you understand. Here's these two videos too. So the link to that article plus the link to both videos, it's a touch of a button to get it to people. It gets to them or it doesn't. There's no snail mail days, Hell, I did the snail mail thing. This is like and grind it out and see where it goes. But yeah, I gotta get going. I'm surprised I made it this long. I gotta pee.
Well, let me thank cmmnj.org.
Oh God.
I want to thank those guys. You guys. I want to thank you guys.
You're welcome.
I don't know. You're on my list, Jim. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know.
What am I supposed to
I'm
do?
trying so hard not to laugh.
You're on the list.
Thank you so much. We do our best.
And we also thank Jim Miller.
Holy crap.
Thank you, Jim Miller, for being you.
Holy shit.
I don't know what to say.
Okay, listen. Go back and watch Ricky Gervais' Oscars speech thing. It's like, this is my last time. I don't care. I don't care. And he kept going, I don't care. All right, think of me in this. I don't care.
Well, I'm going to personalize this. Thank you, Jim Miller, for everything you do. But I'm going to thank you when I get to Cheryl anyway, because the whole thing is based on what your experiences were with Cheryl. That's what even caused CMMNJ to be formed was Cheryl.
Yep.
Cheryl. She's behind all this.
Yeah.
So let's just start right there. So thank you, CMMNJ and Jim Miller and Cheryl Miller. But we're going to get to Cheryl in a second. Kind of sense. Thank you, Neil.
Yes, thank you, Neil.
Thank you, Neil. You're the best, man. UFCW Local 152, JacksonStorms.com, Smoking Monkey, Arlo Glass, OprahMachine.com, which is OprahMachine.com. Come on, man. That's super helpful. Gavin is super helpful.
Yes, thank you, Gavin.
Oh, my goodness. Pure Puff and sativacross.org. You can donate to sativacross.org at sativacross.org. Our list begins with Cheryl Miller, and like I said, she's behind all of this. This is the reason why all of us are even probably here right now in this room.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. If she still were with us, wouldn't be able to afford it without homegrown, and that's how you can tell how good it works. It's not by when people say, "Oh, how does it help?" It's like, here's how it is without it, and then anything is better than that. So yeah. It's job not done. I got a promise. I made her a promise. I said I'm tired. 4 days before she died, I told her she was going to die, and because that's how it goes. And I got to be able to do that. And it was only going to be. It turned out to be 4 days later. But I said I'm tired. I can't. I say I can't keep doing what I've been doing with you. I'm tired. And she said, but you have to. The total last thing I thought I would hear. Total last thing. I told. What? And she said, do you remember? And she reminded me in the beginning. I said, listen, it's amazing. It works with you. We can do it louder. We can do it quiet. And she said, what do you mean? I said, well, we can be quiet because it's pretty illegal, or we could tell everybody. And she said, don't you wish we'd known sooner? Well, yeah. So we shouldn't be wanting somebody to have done something for us we're not willing to do for somebody else. So it made such perfect sense. And I said, well, here's the deal. I'll ask myself if I think you would have shown up. And the answer is yes, I'll show up. So what do you think she would have done in this case? Yeah, we're showing up, man. We're taking this one all the way. First Amendment, and we live by it, you know, and
Right.
everybody should be able to. So there you go.
Hell yeah.
Sabina Rose, Diane, Gracie, Cindy Mae, Marie, Jack, Joan, Randy, Holly, Bill, Chad, Jeremy, Colette, Matt, Troy, Russ, Roger, Jay, Ella, Hattie, Jackie, Anthony, Jake, Armando, Felicia, Lynn, Dan, Sean, Joyce, Lori. Lori, that was Mikey V's aunt.
Oh,
And
Yeah, and it's sad because right now, my uncle Kerry, her husband, he has cancer and he's definitely not doing good. And but he is taking cannabis. He's taking that FICO.
have you spoken to him lately?
I haven't spoken to him since I gave it to him. I gave it to him probably like over a month ago. Yeah, I'm glad you asked me that actually, because I should probably reach out to him again. See how he's doing.
Like we didn't get to him yet, but Jeff, when he was diagnosed, they gave him 4 months to live, and they didn't consider cannabis that what he was taking, and he lived for 4 years.
Yeah. No, I'm glad he's taking it. He's
Yeah. You know, the sad part is, in my world, when somebody goes through that and they don't take it, even when I try to tell them. And, so when somebody does, however it doesn't work, yeah, be thankful for that, because there's nothing worse than watching somebody suffer because they just don't think it's going to work. And, come on me. I heard
And the sad thing about Lori, my aunt who'd passed, the doctors weren't behind it. It was 2016. It's not that it was, it wasn't terribly long ago.
No, that wasn't long.
But it's because I dropped off FICO to my uncle Kerry, and I was talking to him about like just stuff, life. I was actually only planning on dropping it off and like kind of like just skedaddling. But after talking to him, I tried to like leave once or twice, and I could tell he just wanted to talk. It was almost like he wanted me to just talk and be there with him. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm not leaving. I'll hang out all night. Shit.
Yeah.
And my uncle, whatever, I hadn't seen him in many years, whatever, family, this and that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I had the conversation that I had with him. And what with Lori's, the doctors not being okay with it and everything like that, that put me through that was 2016, I started doing the activism, sometime after that. But that had affected me, in a large way, as you can imagine. And then as I was talking to Kerry about this, and he just like, I don't know why, foolishly, it didn't occur to me that he, that it had such an effect on him that the doctors weren't behind Lori using that as treatment. I don't know why I assumed that this had bothered me to such a monumental level, and I was the one in the family who, for whatever reason, just was the most outraged over it. But when I was talking to Kerry about it, it was very apparent that had like broken his spirit with trying to make sure that she had everything that she needed or whatever, best treatment possible, and just foolish of me to think that, or something.
No.
She was in New Jersey.
Huh?
Mikey? She was in Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a Spanish teacher for Monmouth University.
Way back in the day when Cheryl and I brought it to her neurologist, Dr. Anthony Lombardino, who was head of neurology at what was then Paul Kimball Hospital in Lakewood. Head of neurology. He listened to everything we had to say. And then he went and brought back the pharmacopoeia, a big, huge book. And he read about Marinol. You know, that and that there was nothing else other than that was available, and it was only one little part. But he said, look, I'll prescribe it off label just based on there's nothing else to help you. And that's what a doctor needs to do. So he was solidly behind her and said, you tell anybody you want. This is in 1993, maybe four, something like that. That, you know, he'd explain it to him, and it carried a lot of weight. Thing is, it messed her up too much, you know, it messed with her head, and I liked it. So she had all she wanted, and whatever was left over was Jimmy's. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting going forward. It's election season now. Labor Day is beyond us. This is when candidates are out and about. Now, what I'm doing started out with Assemblyman Moriarty, Susan's assemblyman. I get their newsletter now, so I'll know where they're going to be and what they're going to be doing. And depending on how things go with her next email that's going out, I will be in position to go exercise my First Amendment rights wherever he's handing out, do glad handing in public, and hand that information as I see fit, just like I took Cheryl's memorial wheelchair to the beach when state senator in New Jersey, Tom Kane Jr. wanted to run for United States senator, and he wouldn't talk to me, and I went walking with him blanket to blanket, talking over him while he's telling people, I'm like, I'm obviously not with him. My point is that was my First Amendment rights then. One of my proudest moments ever. And I got to relive it with him years later as a state house. He's actually way taller than I remember. Holy shit. So it was all about First Amendment all the time. And if I put together a list of the times I relied on First Amendment, I may as well do that. Why am I saying if? Complete with pictures. All the times, this is me and my First Amendment rights that you guys are sticking up for. That was a good idea. Frank Pallone walking in front of his house, you know, First Amendment. Yeah. Everywhere I've ever been, First Amendment.
Frank Pallone knows us 2 wheelchair ramps at the police station in South Amboy and the post office in South Amboy. He sent us Google links, Google grant links for grant money. Like,
Really?
How's that helpful,
thanks.
Frank?
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah, thing is, you did that knowing you'd probably get bullshit response, but you did it anyway. And in my own world, I'm being told, why would I ask Senator Scutari the same thing he said no to a year and a half ago?
Because he said no to it a year and a half ago, and it's time to ask him again. That's why.
Or a month and a half. But it's all about a Zoom meeting to discuss why. And not just with sound bites, answer a few questions. It'll be 10 minutes. Senate Health Committee Chairman Joe Vitelli made time for us. I asked him to be point blank about this, and he almost was exasperated. You already know, you know, I mean, it was great that he got exasperated with me for wanting him to say the words. So you're saying that if he gives you permission, you will post it. That's, you know, that's what I've been. That the day that he was exasperated as well. Point is he, and Susan was there as well, on that of all people. So now we're like trying to use that with her assemblyman who's going to try to ascend to Senator Madden's seat, who is as big a dick as Dick Cody. They compete for the top spot there. He's retiring, and this guy wants to ascend to it.
Dick who?
I'm pausing. Cody. Yeah, Madden, Senator Madden. I forget his first name.
bigger dick
He's
than
a,
Senator.
he's a Democrat on the health committee as well that is against all things cannabis, including medical as well. He's been the other dick. So he's retiring. That's awesome. I mean, I'm talking about Madden, but Susan, meaning me, through her, was in position to try to get him to talk to senators about this from his party or assembly people, just talk to them, tell me where you think they might be wrong, where you think they might be right, and where you think you need more information. It's their job. It's their job description. Just do that. I'm not asking you to think anything, just talk to them, knowing that they won't. So you make the easiest request, they won't make it. It's easier to make them look like the dicks they're being. And she's in position to do that now, having been sort of dropped after, I'll tell you your phone number, we'll call, we'll talk. And I'm like, no, don't talk. They're so happy they didn't follow it up with a call because there's no paper trail of a phone call. So like it fell in our lap. I'm going to write one more letter, and the letter is going to say, by the time you get this, it'll be within days of our entire email trail that I'm resending to you being posted on letpatientsgrowNJ.com. So you might want to answer this one so it doesn't just go unanswered. Read it and see how it sounds to you. I've been waiting this forever. And this is so great. I mean, I'm like Susan. I wrote everything. And it's like, oh, checkmate. What are you going to do? You got to say something. You don't say something. Look, it goes unanswered. Look how bad that's going to look. It's up there. Media members can get it. I can have people saying, go to a post office and say they alerted me to this and I read it. I can't believe it. I can do whatever I want. And Susan's ready and I'm ready. And I'm getting newsletters. So I'm going to go to try to get newsletters and buddy up to whoever's a player, Democrat and Republican. And then I'm taking on the 5 Republican co-sponsors in about 2 weeks if I don't get some sort of direction not to, for being posers, that they co-sponsored their CINO, CIN co-sponsors in name only, like Dean Dinos as Democrats in name only. Republican, your co-sponsors in name only. You co-sponsor something has been blocked for 2.5 years. You co-sponsor it, and you don't even ask the Senate president to allow it to be posted for a hearing after you co-sponsored it. So basically what I'm saying is it's going to fall on them to say otherwise. And it's in the campaign season, I get to do that. And Lefty, our friend, Senator Doer and Tina, I hope they respect that what I'm saying has merit. And I got to get going, but I'll remind you real quick. Jim DeMayo is an assemblyman who, when Jake's law passed, he had written a bill to rescind the medical marijuana sales tax entirely, but he didn't even bother getting any co-sponsors, much less the guy with an office right next to him, the other assemblyman. He didn't even co-sponsor it. What he wanted to do was go, I'm going to vote for Jake's law, but it's horrible that you're still phasing it out. I wrote a bill to get rid of it. So I'm using that as the example. That is this another form that 5 Republican co-sponsors who are senators know that it's safe to co-sponsor because it's never going to get to a hearing, because they're not going to ask the senator to get out of the way of a single-handed roadblock. So anyway, it's going to get interesting. And I'm sorry I got to go, but I've been here way long. It's been an interesting night.
Well, hey, Rob, I just want to say hi to Rob. How you doing, man? We're
Hey,
gonna,
what's going on?
Yeah, we're just ending the show, but I wanted to say hi to you real quick. You got good news for us?
Yeah, I got to stay.
Yeah, I was proposed with an offer today on something I think is going to be very creative. Alcohol-free THC-infused wine and spirits.
THC only.
THC only.
That's pretty interesting.
No alcohol, so
No,
you can get around. You can get around the alcohol rule, okay? And the way that this gentleman has done it is he scaled the THC. He has beer, wine, and spirits.
So he scaled it.
What?
He
I'm
scaled
sorry.
it. He scaled it like if you were drinking the same amount of wine as you would
Yep.
drink beer. The wine, okay,
Yep.
the wine THC would elevate you more like.
So your wine
I like it.
THC, your wine
like it, yeah.
THC level will be at about 10 to 12%. Your beer THC level will be between 3 and 5%, and your higher spirits will be at 60 to 80%.
Wow. Yeah.
And
you
what
could-
we'll do,
I
yeah,
love
but
it.
what we'll do is this wine is actually coming right out of Sonoma Valley. It's not coming out of somebody's basement. So
Really?
this gentleman also has, and I don't know if this is true, okay, but we all might have stepped into a monstrous pile of shit. He apparently has the sole distribution license for the entire Philippines.
Wow.
And this guy is no slouch. He's an ex-Silicon Valley guy. And, he's been sober for 13, 14 years.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he goes, I don't understand why we have to be treated as outcasts. Why can't we just produce something for ourselves?
Well, see, now
Yeah.
in New Jersey, that's a legal adult product. I mean, however it gets to the New Jersey market, it is a market that, however, new regulations being still made, it's really interesting. But I got to tell you what, the idea of going out to dinner and having a non-alcoholic beer, that beer, and I have beer, I like beer, but to do that instead, it would be fascinating. You know,
This is we at Mad Hatter and everybody else
Mad
on this
Hatter.
phone.
Good.
Mad Hatter Dispensary is us. Everybody, we will be the sole supplier for the entire state of New Jersey for infused wine. Now, one thing that you have to remember, the majority of wine companies are tagged and or owned by publicly traded companies, which means they cannot get and they cannot produce any of this because it's in violation of federal law. So therefore, they would be in violation of their SEC filings.
They can't say boo.
So if you also noticed, InBev, okay, which is the largest spirits, producer in the world, just unloaded 15 micro dispensaries on Tuesday to a group. Those 15 micro dispensaries that they own will all be changed into THC supported beverage production facilities.
Oh, they're ahead of the curve.
Wow.
So I'm sitting here when the guy said it to me. He also has the ability to pair these wines, whether it's a Merlot taste, a white wine taste. He has the ability to pair this with food.
Wow.
With infused food. I mean, this is crazy.
What we will be able to offer through the demented facility that we're building is the ability for you to have a 5-star Michelin meal and not touch a drop of alcohol, and you still will not be able to drive your car home. Or in Lefty's case, I'm gonna have to boot your chair, okay?
Hey, I gotta say, this worlds are colliding here, and I love it, man. You know,
Wow.
they
Well,
really are.
the thing is also, Lefty, everybody is going to be at the convention in Edison. Okay.
Yes.
Are you in Bongholio going?
We have a booth. 431 is our booth. So we'll be there for.
Yeah, we'll be there.
What day is that?
I think it's like the 28th or something. What day is it, Lefty?
28th, I believe it is. Yes.
Of this month?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the way, Lefty, guess who we're guests of?
Your Cheech?
No. Even better.
What?
Even better.
Bongholio, you better be good.
I can't make any promises. Everybody knows this
I
about
don't know,
me.
but that's a deal breaker.
Okay, but we're guests of Chatterbait.
Oh,
I'll
Mikey's
pretend
fr-
like
Mikey loves
I
that.
don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I got some friends from Chatterbait from
Yeah,
last
he-
time.
Chatterbait is the absolute world's largest deposit of porn on the planet.
And those girls are living their bestest life at that vending station there.
And he is also
Okay,
a
now
massive.
reiterate
He's
what
a
they.
massive. He's a massive. Yes, he's a massive supporter of cannabis. He
Yeah.
happens to be one of my friend's lead investors as well.
Wow.
Right
The,
on.
Well, I'm guessing.
the best part about that expo was going to the after party and hanging out with the Chatterbait girls. They were nuts. They
Well,
were a lot of fun.
Guess what?
What day of the week is this on?
Hold
Friday,
on.
Saturday, Sunday.
Go ahead.
I got a better one. Isn't the Hilton Hotel always stuck with a lot of people that we don't want to talk to because we want to have fun inside our own group? Okay. Don't I have connections at a hotel right down the road in Piscataway? So I called the hotel in Piscataway and I requested they stick us in a private wing away from everybody and leave us the fuck alone.
Wow.
And the GM is like, anything for you, Rob, no problem.
Wow.
We also we have a lot of things also. We actually secured a golf location for a golf outing in 2024.
Oh,
Sweet.
And we also through this wine company and through a handful of the guys out in Vegas, and Lefty, you'll like this one. We are going to have a white and green ball, but you're going to actually have to get dressed up. We're going to have a big charity event that will bring everybody together, and we're doing it all for our charities. And we have the option of the golf course or a 200-acre estate in upstate New York.
Oh, wow.
hey,
Hey,
listen.
Lefty cleans up pretty nice. He's been to a couple of council meetings or two, dressed all snazzy.
Yeah, they didn't know who he was.
Oh yeah, you two chuckleheads, by the way. My lawyers are having a field day reading your briefs. Okay. They're like the town of Lavalette should know that the state of New Jersey, all you have to do is ask permission to film, just like any other press conference that anyone would ever have. They can't deny you the right to record. And even though you had notice from the town clerk, you technically don't need notice from the town clerk.
Oh yeah, no, well aware. Yeah,
they're
they
in
stepped
trouble.
in a big giant hole of shit. Nothing but dog and horse manure.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go, but Rob, I'm glad I hung out long enough to say hi and hear what you had to say. This is like music to my ears, everything. A great way.
We're fucking shit up with golf balls and everything.
beyond
And we're
that,
also
you know?
and we're also introducing something that we're calling Build a Bong instead of Build a Bear.
Build a bong.
Build a bong. All right, listen, I gotta go. I'm like running real late.
See you later, Jim. Nice meeting you.
I got some splaining to do elsewhere right now. So it's been real. We'll see how it goes, man. Good seeing you. Bye bye.
Thanks, John.
Rob, are you going to be at the CRC meeting this coming month? Is that happening?
Oh, you want to hear a funny story?
Or did that happen?
We are on October's docket, but there's a serious possibility that we will be given a license in between the meetings.
Oh, wow.
Because the CRC made a boo-boo, and let's just say, without having it recorded, it was a monstrous boo-boo. You know? Okay. So yes, but we won't. I don't want to attend any of the meetings. I really rather just have Mad Hatter out there and save my face for a little while. You know,
we're looking forward to getting over there. When do you think that could happen soon?
To which one? To the dispensary?
The other building where we can do.
The other. Okay, so we have a meeting on the 18th of September, Okay. We had some issues with an appraisal that was done by somebody who was connected with the town. So we asked for a new appraisal. We'll get the new appraisal tomorrow. And that will allow us to move forward. We have a meeting on the 18th with the town, and trust me, they are not going to like us after the 18th.
Oh man.
No, I can tell you, you think you stir shit up, they are going to hate us after the 18th. We already have a cop that's sitting in the parking lot disturbing business as we speak in the shop. Yep. So, but yeah, no, on a good note, think about that wine thing. Everybody I've spoken to has been like, you know what? Why not? You can bring it to all your BYOB.
Everybody's going to want to try it.
Yeah, that's fun.
Everybody will want to at least try it.
I'll try
And
that.
then they might like it.
Well, the thing is, one, it has no alcohol, which I'm pretty cool with. Number two, it comes in a concentrated form so that we'll actually bottle and produce the end product in-house.
What I like about it is that there isn't alcohol in it, because I like the idea of, I mean, if you want to drink a beer and whatever, you know, you want alcohol in it, but if I like that there's not alcohol in it, you don't need to combine the two. And most people would try to attempt to combine the two.
Well, the whole point is under the law, trying to combine the two is a fucking mess. So, I mean, and myself, Mikey, you forget this, but I've been in the program for a few years, so at least I'm not crossing over the line. I already get chastised when I walk into some basements of churches for owning a dispensary. So, in my neck of the woods, I consider that's keeping my side of the street clear.
Yeah.
So, and for the opening in October, can we get you an upgraded bong suit, please?
Upgraded bong.
What
do you mean?
Can't we get you like a cool one? Can't we get you one where smoke comes out of the top?
Well, yeah, you're gonna get some dry ice for us? We need dry ice.
I'll get you whatever you want. Okay.
All I have to do is make a dry ice hat pan for my head.
And I was thinking.
The thing is this: I do not want to try to overcomplicate that thing any more than it already is. You guys have no idea.
It's intense. It's intense getting in that thing.
Well, I got to tell you this much: if you're going to work with Mad Hatter, if you think squeezing into a bong suit's a problem, you got a whole lot of therapy in front of you. You got a whole shitload of therapy, because really what I would like to do is find a field, get really stoned, and then play human soccer in those big balls and do it for charity.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean, we can do a lot of different things, So, yeah, I think the wine thing is fairly interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's an amazing idea.
And the guy also runs he runs 3 tour groups out of Sonoma. So he does a 420 friendly wine tour, and he's also in bed with Planet 13 out in Vegas.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. He's in bed with them. He's in bed with, and he doesn't even know it yet, but he's in bed with the Indians up by Turning Stone Casino, which are old clients of mine. Okay. So, a lot of things that we fought for have finally come through,
Oh, I know that feeling. It's a good feeling when you finally get some results from things you've been fighting for.
Yeah, but a lot of people ask me, and I'm not trying to be a dick or anything, but a lot of people ask me, coming from the banking business, okay, we run what's called an SRO. It's a self-regulatory organization. That's what the CRC should be. It shouldn't be an agency. It should be an SRO. Like, I know for a fact I can point at 5 dispensaries that are up have annual licenses in operation underneath either the minority or the social justice, where the actual license holder owns less than 10% of the company. The other 90% has been given away. That's against the law. Okay. Who the hell do you report that to? 311, 411, 911? Who the fuck knows? How do you report somebody who's doing something wrong and try and keep the continuity of what people like myself, where we're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay, to do it the right way, and you got 5 or 6 bad apples upsetting the entire cart?
Yeah.
I don't want to be a tattletale, but to be honest, we've got $1 million into this project, and you think I want to lose $1 million? I'd rather cut off a testicle.
Yeah, for real.
Know?
Right.
I hear that.
So the thing is, you guys have a booth. I'll be there with Chatterbait, and you remember the guys from Whack It, the grinder company?
Amazing company. Yeah, those guys are awesome.
Okay. So I was on the phone with G and Johnny and his whole crew. So we're all going to party. You better put your party pants on. Mikey might want to put a diaper underneath that.
Dude, I always got my party
Bunghole.
pants on.
Well,
I am a party.
you know,
I'm a party in a bag.
Well, and what I thought I would do for you, Lefty, have you made any concessions in Englewood at all with the town?
No, we were about to file our tort claim with the town.
Yeah, we're working on that right now. We'll probably be able to have that finished in the next day or two.
How bad do you want this? How bad do you want it?
I just want a wheelchair ramp to the post office. That's all I want.
That's all you want is a wheelchair ramp to the post office.
Yes, that's it.
Well, if I get wild on the phone, okay, and we can possibly work out a deal. Will that make you happy?
Yes, just if they can put a wheelchair ramp in, that's all we want.
Okay, so what I would ask you, if you're going to file anything, could you hold off until Tuesday? Give me a few days, because him and my mother go back very far, but I don't speak to my mother anymore. So I can reach him through somebody else.
Okay. No,
listen,
that'd be great.
Listen,
I appreciate it.
Listen, we all agree that wheelchairs are what we're here for, and that's what all of the money is going to go to. I don't want to see a fight where I know a fight can be avoided. He's a really nice, very reasonable Jewish guy who's been around. He's big in Temple Emmanuel. I'm not Jewish, but the handful of times I met him and his wife, he was a nice, very reasonable person.
Okay.
So let me try. Dude, I would
be okay with an apology as well.
Well, listen, sometimes you can't get your asshole scratched while she's blowing you. You take what you can get.
If I got an apology, I'd be like, all right, I'll move on to the next thing now. Apology goes a long way, because you know why? Because you never get them.
Yeah, we never get those.
Well, guess what?
If I got an apology,
guess what?
I'll move on. I'm cheap like that. I'm easy.
Well, when the Englewood police show up at your house with the entire SWAT team and they escort you out, I highly doubt I got an apology for that one. Okay. So we'll leave that alone. You're not going to get an apology over your fucking ramp. At best, you're going to get a ramp, and they're going to give you a ribbon.
Rob, I love the tough fights.
I know.
I love the tough fights.
But you got to understand, you're pissing in my backyard. That's my fucking church right up the street.
Right.
My parents live
Oh,
right
you're an
there.
Englewood brother.
Yeah.
I grew up in
didn't know that.
Tenafly. I grew up in Tenafly, and Englewood was where my sisters went to school. First Presbyterian Church has been my family church for 57 years.
Oh, perfect.
I was baptized.
So you're the perfect guy to help stir some shit up.
Well, yeah, Rob, I'm glad we talked to you, because
you can help us stir some shit up with this.
If you can help get that ramp, that's all we were asking, because that's all we want is a ramp.
Yeah, and like the first phase of all that is like getting an answer, some contact, just some open line of communication. Like these are the little things that I would be more than okay with as the next phase.
I just have to be very careful, because the town of Englewood gave a tree in my father's honor in this tree garden, apparently. So I have to tread lightly, but that doesn't mean that I can't ask questions. So I'll ask the questions, give me 2 days. And if I can get Wild on the phone and I can say, hey, listen, I'm Bob Ryder, Bob and Barbara Ryder's son. I met you at Englewood Women's Club. We met when we did a real estate deal together. Can we just put in a fucking ramp? Can we just put in a ramp?
Yeah, because
Is it that hard?
the purpose of trying to look at like violations or anything in that manner is to because there's no other way to get any response or whatever. That's why we're trying to figure out when the building's up for a renewal of a lease, do they have to then at that moment make accommodations to those things like wheelchair access?
The grandfather them.
Well, no.
The grandfather needs it.
Yes, but here's the thing. You always have a new code, a new building code versus an old building code. The old building code gives the people the grandfather to not have the ramp. But here's the thing, okay? Benzel Bush, the Mercedes dealership that's in the middle of Englewood?
Yes.
Okay.
We walk by it.
Ziggy Benzel, Nancy Benzel. My father was the trustee for Kim and Neil up until Neil killed himself. Ziggy was my father's best friend. Okay. The Agrestas that now own Benzel Bush, my father sold the dealership to the Agrestas, who also happen to be members of our country club. Okay. So the thing is we can push buttons in the right way and do it the right way. Okay. But we have to do it in a respectful form. You guys push the door, you put the problem in front of their face. The best way to solve it at this point is to be a little bit more diplomatic with it in a town like that, because you're pissing up a fire pole that's a dangerous fire pole. If you were in Alpine, I would tell you to go for it. If you were in Fort Lee, I would tell you to go for it. But there's a lot of powerful people. And do you know, in Englewood, one of the marijuana producers lives in Englewood. He has that company called Noom, Noom, I think. They make gummies and everything else. He's a resident of Englewood. There's a lot of people in that town. The X's, the Pyroses. I mean, shit, I can make a phone call, get the money to build a ramp and not have to go through the fucking mayor, to be honest with you.
Well, okay. I'm open to any suggestion because that's it's not getting done any other way.
They have a very you already know it's a very big entrance, big lot of stairs, but very wide. It's a large space.
Yeah, but the point is also that post office really nobody ever uses. Okay, there's another post office. There's another post office in Englewood that you don't know about. That's where the majority of the mail actually goes to. That Englewood post office that's across from Sophia and the abortion clinic is really an annex. The real one is all the way downtown on Van Brunt Street, if I'm not mistaken.
It's very
so,
run
and
down.
It's an old building. It's next to that fucking library has had the same books in there for the last 52 years. It's just that section of town. Do you know that literally, I would say 1,000 yards down the street from the Englewood Public Library was one of the original stops on Harriet Tubman's Underground Railroad?
Oh, wow.
There, my friend had a house. He ended up selling the house. It was a huge house on about 5 acres. When they knocked the house down, they found all the catacombs underneath his house from Harriet Tubman's Railroad. Wow. Englewood was a very progressive, free state, bringing people up from the South. Tenafly, New Jersey, is claimed for inventing the English muffin. And that's about the most I know about both of those towns. So, but yeah, let me make a phone call
like that about towns. I love all that shit.
Yeah, but I got it. Englewood's been very good Anglewood's been very, very good to us, you know, and let me see if I can get a phone call with Wild and I can say, hey, listen, can you do a fucking favor for me? Put up a ramp and my guys will leave you alone. You know, there's no need to go into court over a few $100 in a ramp.
Yeah, not
You
even
know?
a concrete ramp, like a wooden ramp that the high school kids can build or Cub Scouts can build on as a side project.
You see, but now, if I recall, you're not going to be able to get up that front hill, no matter how you try.
You have
So
to go
how would you have to
sideways.
go from the side, right?
Sideways, yes. A zigzag. A zigzag to the first level and then a zigzag to the second level.
But
there's
God,
two
heaven,
levels.
no,
There's
but I'm saying, is there a way that we can do it through the back to catch the curb so that you don't have to go up? You don't have to do a zigzag to go up the hill. Is there a way? I used to drink in Sophia a lot.
Sure.
Is there a more economical way than pouring $10,000 worth of concrete on a union job? You know what? I'll take a ride over there. I'll take a ride over there on the weekend.
You can go on Google Maps and look at it really good too. Google Maps.
If you saw the restaurant that was right across the street.
Yes.
Probably.
Okay, that used to be our restaurant, by the way. We used to have a locker in the basement filled with drugs, money, and everything else.
Oh man.
That place used to be run by the mob and the Greek mob. I bought a guy's Lotus. I bought a red Lotus Turbo Esprit sitting at the bar. I wrote the guy a $20,000 check because he was going into the can for 35 plus.
Oh.
We used to throw smokers there where we would have strippers come in. We put the shades down and there'd be 100 guys in there smoking cigars and ditches all over the place. It was outrageous. Outrageous. The crap that used to be owned by literally a Greek guy from Cliffside Park and owned by a friend of mine's boyfriend who used to own a landscaping company. You know, that's a great restaurant, by the way. But you know, I agree with you. Let me see if there's a way that we can possibly not have to file anything, because if we can do it diplomatically, then it saves everybody. And you know what? Everybody walks away shaking hands and moves on, you know, and we get what we want. You get what you want. And we look like good guys.
Sounds good to me, brother.
Dude, looking forward to partying at the after party with you, Rob.
Yeah,
at the expo.
man.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Oh, they're bringing, these guys. The guy who owns the wine company, he owns the rights to a song. We're going to have to change your costume, Bungholio, for Christmas. He owns the rights to. He owns. But guess what? He owns the rights to Jingle Ball Rocks. Yes, I meet some weird people in my world. So, you know.
I know that. I know. What's up?
Yeah, you
How
dress
you
up
doing?
like a bong, and you guys got to get a trailer. Can't we put Bungholio in a trailer and you can just tow him, Lefty?
Yeah, that would be amazing. That would be really super amazing.
Also, I want to discuss with you guys, since nobody else is on here anyway right now. We can put up that 100-foot screen that you have, and we can do. I was thinking of a way to kind of get around what Woodbridge would say no to. Okay. What happens if we did an old school drive-in for your wrestling matches? And it was BYOB.
Oh yeah, for the UFC and the BKFC. Yeah. Oh, outdoors would be great.
Nuts.
We can do it. We can do it where the parking lot is all cleaned up. The parking lot, we're going to figure if we don't want to have to resurface it because it's going to cost too much, but we're going to have to make improvements. Now, we were thinking that you guys could do that in the back section of the lot. People can pull up with their cars. They can have tables. If we do it, I've already spoken to Woodbridge about having events. If we can do something along those lines, maybe we can get that done. The other thing that we had discussed is the golf outing. We discussed the wine. He also has infused coffees.
Oh, wow.
That can be infused. He also has normal energy drinks that can be infused. And basically what happens, all of this gets produced out in Napa Valley and gets shipped to us in 250-gallon concentrated holding tanks. We mix it in the holding tank. We'll do that under our production license. And then what we do is we call in what's called a mobile bottler. They come in with an 18-wheeler that has a bottling system in the back. And then we can stick all of that product inside the refrigerator we did not know what to do with.
Oh, that's right. You have that huge fridge.
Yep.
Nice.
So in the grand scheme of everything, even though we're going to be a little bit later on the opening, I think we're going to open with some, and apparently the meeting in November at the CRC is going to open the doors up for more edibles, more consumables, and everything else.
Interesting.
Dude, infused coffee, I can tell you right now, that's a hit.
Yeah.
I did a lot of business with a guy, his name was Granger Whitehall. We did some deals, here and there over the course of the last 15 years. He spent 10 years trying to sell the idea of liquor infused ice cream, and it never ever worked. I'm just hoping that this isn't going to be a colossal, Barnum and Bailey type thing where it's going to be a great thing and then it's going to fizzle to shit.
Like Vince McMahon's XFL.
Well, that also. Oh, I forgot to also tell you. How do you think about Mike Tyson?
I love Mike Tyson.
I love Mike, but they're not selling his product here. It's not,
I love him as a person.
It's not his product.
Guess what?
It's different.
Guess why they're not selling it? Because the original people he signed a deal with never ever paid him, so they canceled the contract. He's coming over to the other side through these guys in Vegas. So we'll be able to carry Tyson's crap as well.
The actual ears?
Well, I was thinking, can we make edible black ears? But I'm figuring I'll probably get sued, so we'll have to make them multicolor, like swirled. Yeah, but one of the guys at the CRC in an official letter today, how do I even say this? Somebody at the CRC in a letter to somebody else in the CRC regarding our license actually thought that he was directing that letter to a woman that works for us. That woman happens to be a man. And the entire letter was geared towards she needs to go get her fingerprints. She needs to figure out this disclosure. So our operations guy, Kayer, is fucking fumed that he thought that the inspector thought that he was a woman. So we put the screws to the CRC and we said, we're not being heard in September because of a lack of oversight by you guys and not asking for this document 2 months ago after we told you and asked you, do you need any more documents for us? So now you're pushing us back an entire month. And then on top of that, you're also, our head of operations, our ops guy is absolutely furious that you thought he was a woman and you addressed him as ma'am and her and she, and we want retribution from you guys. So that's it. You fucked up. Now we want it back. So, but I think we'll get an intern meeting, but it doesn't help. We'll be open the second or third week in October. We'll be ready to open for Halloween.
Can we get in there earlier?
Yeah, you're going to put it to you this way. You guys are going to be in there. We have to, you know what? In 2 weeks when we're down in Edison, we're going to have to sit down and talk because it's going to take us a little bit of time to unload the other store and figure out what we want to do with everything that's in there. So what we might do is for the beginning purposes, stick you in that one room, okay, while we empty out the store, because we still don't know what to do with the contents of the store yet. You know, we're never going to be able to sell out of the products. We're not going to lose money on it, and I'm not ready to bulk sell it to somebody. We don't need to lose money on a bulk sale yet, because actually what we would like to do under New Jersey 60/40 rule, I can carry dildos in a dispensary. New Jersey law allows it.
Oh, there you go.
They wrote the law, and I'll exploit the living fuck out of it.
Yep.
As any good red-blooded American should.
No, any evil son of Satan and capitalist like myself is going to do.
Hey, however you want to put it, Rob, I'm into it.
So we also thought we would try and do dinner one of those nights where we can actually sit down and try and accomplish something than trying to pick up everybody's tongue off the floor from the chatterbait girls. So, you know, remember, at the end of the day, guys, this is a fucking business. You know that? It's just not bongs jumping around and donuts in a parking lot, even though I think that sounds cool.
It is cool.
You know, so there's stuff moving forward, and I can't even believe I'm going to tell you this one though. I'm in the market for a bus, a Class A diesel pusher, and my budget, I want to stay between 60 and 80 grand. Okay. Cummins engine, Allison transmission. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into the rolling Mad Hatter living room.
Oh,
that's cool.
Wow.
And then what we can do is we can do events where we can actually take people to Giant Stadium, a concert, whatever it might be. Okay. And then they can party on the bus, do whatever they want. And then that's it. And well, I'll charge a stupidly obscene amount of money for Nathan's hot dogs and hamburgers before a Pink concert, so you can get stoned in my bus. So
that's a winner.
And I do have a list of 9 fully approved non-operational dispensaries that are for sale in the state of New Jersey. So you tell me what's wrong with that. According to state law, you have to be open and operational for 24 months before you can have any switch in the equity inside your license. So how is somebody selling controlled interest when the control still has to stay with the license holder?
Interesting.
Those are questions that make you should go,
yeah.
Where is this system going? You know, I would love to sit in front of the CRC and just say, how do you guys plan on fixing it? How do you plan on fixing it? We're on a great path as it is, but let's be honest, and I know this is not going to come out right, okay? Every single one of those 9 dispensaries are either social equity or minority owned. Why is the social equity and minority owned program not working? Because they have no access to money. If you don't have access to money, how are you supposed to hold up a license for somebody like myself or somebody in Rockaway who has the money to operate, not just the money to receive the license and then offload it 6 months later? That's not what this was built for. And those are things that you should also be talking about sometimes on this, on your show. Everyone can bash the CRC, everybody, and nothing against the guy that was on before. Everybody can bash the government and say, do. If you're going to bash somebody, come back at them with an answer of what your thoughts are to repair it. We know federally legalizing marijuana is going to do nothing except open banking and insurance because it'll still be controlled by the states. So what do we care if Biden makes it federal or not federal? That's not going to help any of you guys. The only person that's going to help is me. And it's not going to drive down the cost of weed at all, because you are not going to be able to cross weed from New York and sell it in New Jersey or from New Jersey to Connecticut. That's still against state law. And who's going to marijuana sales that should be in New Jersey go over to Connecticut because we're shipping weed over state lines? It's not the proper way to do it. So that's kind of where it is for right now.
Well, that's a hell of an update, Rob. Thank you,
I
brother.
told you I had some things to talk about.
You sure did.
You know.
Wow.
So
Not the marinade on this.
yeah, but Guillermo, John, two of his other guys are coming out from Vegas. One guy be there. He's going to China tomorrow morning or the day after. But in the grand scheme of everything, listen, we keep getting our teeth kicked and Woodbridge isn't going to stop us. The state's not going to stop us. And I have another plan in motion already that if I can pull it off, you'll see a shitload of Mad Hatter.
Well, hey, Rob, I want you to end the show with us. We're going to finish off the list and end the show. So thanks for taking part. Our list, we're in the middle of our list, and we're at...
Yeah, so we have an ability to have Mad Hatters in more than 3 locations, by the way.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to this, man. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun winter, fun fall and winter.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you think it was funny when I walked up to the both of you and said, hey, you want to do this in a dispensary? You must have thought I was lying.
Well, we meet a lot of crazy people too, Rob.
Yeah. We just thought you were just another, crazy person. And you are.
And you are. And we love it.
We love it.
I am, but my craziness comes with purpose, and it comes with...
Yeah, when you can favorably, put your crazy to use like that, no, we know all about that.
We know about that stuff.
I can tell you one thing. The first joint that I sell in the Woodbridge dispensary will give me access to about $40 million. That'll be a $40 million joint. And then you're going to see what this machine really has behind it. So, it's going to be fun. So, okay, if you need extra tickets, please tell me so I can tell G. But for right now, it's just going to be me, Jim, Andrew, and John. So,
right on.
If you guys need 1 or 2 extra tickets, and I'll make it happen.
Cool.
Right on, man. All right, so we just ended on with Lori.
Okay.
Frank, here, let me do the list for you. It'll take me 1 minute. Frank, Brian, Flo, Carl, Thorne, Frank, Lorraine, Terry, Charlotte, Cher, Jaybird, Michael, Marley, Colette, Brendan, Red, Rico, Lulu, Becky, and Jeff. Mikey, you want to do the end with me?
Yeah, you start, I finish.
They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. The going down of the sun, and in the morning we will remember them.
We will remember them. Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you.
Party at the 420 Expo after party. Can't wait.
Party.
Goodbye.